Welcome back to Two Daddies Judging Baddies.
Judging Baddies.
Where we read internet stories and then we judge people.
Gently.
Not gently. We judge people harshly. We judge each other during the podcast. During the last episode, we talked about Michael's movie reviews. We talked about a couple political things. We went off on a few tangents about being in a movie theater.
We lost a couple people, but
probably.
I think it's okay.
Probably. But here's the thing. There's going to be some podcast episodes where we are very into the stories. Then there's going to be some podcast episodes where we are. I think the big thing is when you're doing a podcast is not changing and just doing the fucking podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like we interact how we would interact. Like I try to do thematic episodes. I didn't have fun during thematic episodes. I have fun when we just get some fucking stories and then we are off on a tangent that has nothing to do with anything.
The one thing I can say for us, and I pat both of us on the back, is we do a lot better about not getting mad anymore. Like for the most part, like we don't argue like aggressively with each other like we used to.
We used to like sibling shit.
Oh, we have a couple episodes that we just scrap because we'd be like,
yeah, you fucking dummy, look at it this way. And then,
well, we said the same thing for about 40 minutes straight.
We're on the same page too. We just got to that page differently. Dylan got to that page by reading all the way up to that page. And I got to that page because there was a dick on one page and then it said turn to page 145. Do you not remember that in textbooks?
Yeah, I mean, there was dicks in every textbook.
Where you'd be like on page 8 and it'd be like, go to page 16. And then you go to page 16 and it'd be like, go to page 35. And you go to page 35 and then it's like, go back to page 8. And then you go to page 8. And then finally it'll end up with a guy standing there like a dad or something like that. And then someone drew like a boner on him or something.
There was a big thing that happened in high school when I was still up in New York where if you had your notebook sitting down, like a lot of my friends got really good at being able to do a drive-by dick real quick. And so within less than a second, if you had like your notebook sitting there, there'd be a dick on it. Like just in like a walk by, they'd just whip out a graffiti
drive-by dicks.
And everything had a dick on it.
Did open neck or sack tap was that ever prevalent at your school?
What, like what's open neck?
Where they come on and slap you on the back of the neck?
Mm-mm.
A friend would come do that. Or they'd walk by you and slap you in the nutsack.
Yeah, and then they were playing that like whole game.
Oh yeah, if you look down at the fucking thing, you got punched twice. That one was a whole lot better.
If you stick your finger through, then you got to hit them. And yeah.
That's a whole lot better than the open neck or the hitting in the nuts. I'm glad I was out of the pants phase where people were getting just pantsed a lot. We're just getting hit in the nutsack left and right. And then it would cause so many fights too. Like someone would just like, people aren't the same people on different days, you know? So a kid who was usually very playful, another one come up, slap him in the back of the neck. Well, today he wasn't playful. Today he had a bad breakfast, okay? Mom and dad were arguing and he didn't like it.
He's in a mood already.
And then he just beats the shit out of his friend. And you're just like, I didn't even know they hated each other. It was like, we just came by and slapped the shit out of the back of his neck. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's happy to be here. So time and place, bud. I remember I sack tapped one of my friends so hard that they were and I got in fucking stupid amount of trouble. And then as soon as I get back from in-school suspension 3 days in, he sack taps me. But like a champion, I'm not sitting there like,
being a bitch about it.
Yeah, he was being a bitch. And the teacher even came and then she was like, what happened? And she was like, she hit him in the nuts.
She got really turned on by that. She's
like, no, not doing that.
Said she
goddamn. Oh,
you said
she arrived at where we were located and she was not happy about it because another student fucking
The
snitched.
weird thing about the huevos is that it's not always the amount of force that you use because sometimes it could just be this nice brushing, but it's the
nick.
right.
The nick is the worst part.
And then it's like a pain that you did not, somebody could come up and punch you and it wouldn't hurt as bad as the right amount of flick force could just set you off.
When my stepdad's brother got mule kicked, there is a force. Yes. There's a force part to it because I'm talking about Like he's like throwing up. They had to put his legs up.
He got mute, like somebody kicked him.
Yeah, because a girl that I was flirting with, I smacked her on the butt. But this is like after we've been kissing and stuff like that. So I know she's fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? And then because I did it, he thought he could come up and do it. And he did it. And she was not down for that game. So she just like, bam. Her dad raised her right, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if a guy, like I'm not going to just walk up and slap a girl's ass. I was never that. Just slap a random girl's ass. If I knew she was into me, sure. He was playing with fire and got burnt.
Yeah.
Got mule kicked. I mean, that's the hardest I have to this day seen somebody. And I think it was because too, like he was power walking to keep up with us. So he's like power walking forward, coming into the mule kick. And I don't know, she kind of hooked it a little bit. He came up, you know what I'm saying? Like he got kicked in the ball so hard, he lifted a little bit by the force that this girl put into this mule kick. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I've seen a lot of terrible shit happen to I thought my friend was going to die from getting hit in the nuts so hard.
Yeah,
I thought it was over for him. I thought he was cooked. The noises he was gargling on his own spit. I thought he was going to aspirate. I was terrified for him.
Yeah, I was just talking on the weirdness of that, like something that shouldn't inflict that much pain. It's a crazy the amount of pain that a touch can do versus, an actual like getting hit in the junk hurts. But if it's the right pressure of a flick, that can hurt substantial.
I remember I was at a card shop and this one kid, Jacob, I think I fought Jacob like 100 times in my life. He's just one of the neighborhood kids and we fight all the time. But we're standing at the card shop and he comes up and he sack taps me. And it's one of those ones where barely the tip of his middle finger hit my nutsack and just shot this pain inside of my body I didn't think people could feel. And I'm down on the ground and I'm fucking, oh God, oh fucking hurt. Oh. And my middle brother, who is a teddy bear, I thought he was going to fight the kid. I thought he was going to fight him and he didn't do it. So then I had to sit there and wait and finally get my breath back. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I got to go fight him. And we ended up fighting it was connected to this bar called Sharky's. And I have never been barred from a bar so many times than that fucking place. And just not ever been a patron. I've never drank a beer there. I have never, and this is all before I was 21. I've been banned from that place so many times just because it was like connected to the card shop. We'd go down there. They'd have like pool and stuff like that. But he walks down there and I'm just like, what a better setting because I don't want to get banned from the card shop. I went and just fought him in the bar. I just came in too. And they were like, he was just standing there minding his own business. This animal. I'm like, I'm not an animal. I just got hit in the nuts up the road. Okay, you didn't see that part. That fucking dude who, I don't know if he was like a bartender there or the owner. He was always there to fucking ban me. And he would ban me and then 2 weeks later I'd be in there. He's just like, you're never allowed to back in here. You come back in here, you're trespassing.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Yeah, and I'd just be back in there, and he'd be like, you boys, you gonna go play some pool? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go play some pool. And I go in there and just be shit at pool and shit like that. And then if we had to have a fight at the card shop, we just go down there and do it.
That's like people getting banned from Walmart. Like
I've been banned from Walmart indefinitely.
Yeah, but then you just
every day. I'm there every day.
All right, so we're gonna get into this.
Two daddies. Judging baddies.
Am I the asshole for letting him eat what he cooked?
Sure.
Me, 35. She's an asshole for letting him.
No, okay, I take it back.
All right, me, 35 female, and my spouse, 38 male, are the parents of a 5-year-old neurodivergent kid.
Yeah, you're the asshole.
My husband refuses to educate himself on that topic. At the same time, he has recently admitted how much he hates my tendencies to micromanage everything. I can understand that, though I am the only one constantly assessing and anticipating our daughter's mental state in order to be able to regulate her nervous system and prevent avoidable meltdowns. Yet, in order to save our relationship, I am learning to keep my mouth shut. Today, our daughter returned home really overstimulated. I let her draw and played some calm music to let her unwind. Later, my husband decided to play a video game, but our daughter wanted his attention. Therefore, he chose to show her the game which has lots of visuals and flashing effects. And as always, he turned the volume up. They were doing so for approximately an hour while I was tidying our daughter's bedroom. When he decided to quit the game, our 5-year-old started being really dysregulated and difficult, having a really hard time, and he could not get her to take her bath. That's when he came to me to take over, and I decided to say no. Am I the asshole for keeping him responsible for his choices? Is it malicious to let him deal with the consequences when he perceives my recommendations as nagging?
Do you hear my belly?
It's always your belly.
He's hungry.
But are they the asshole for letting him eat what he cooked?
Yeah, your daughter's suffering because of it.
Yeah, but you're two parents. Like, you can't always save the day. Like, he needs to learn how to not get her off in the weeds.
So, with my nonverbal son, bless my wife's heart. Listen, she is a amazing mother. Like, that is one of her best. She is very scheduled and does everything it takes to help our children succeed. But when Theo starts throwing a fit, she cannot, for the life of her, get him back to normalcy, okay? So I'm in the bedroom, and he starts throwing a fit with her. And I'm like, get it together, Mom. You got him. You got him. I'm like sorting out my clothes for it to be washed. And he's just down on the ground, just screaming. I hear him, screaming at her, And I'm like, come on, baby, you got it. I'm like, God damn it, I gotta go in there. So I go in there. And we do have like a little mini argument over this. I'm like, we're too far into this for this to last this long. And she goes, if you're so good at it, get him out of it. I was like, hey, bud, stand up. And then I grab him. I'm like, what's wrong? And I start saying words like phrases that he'll say. And I'll be like, come here, baby. And he goes, come here, baby. And I'm like, what do you want to do? You want to snuggle? So we go over to the little reclining chair, and I'm like, you do it. And he reclines it. And then he reclines it out, and then he reclines it back in, and then he reclines it out. And he was like, a day watch a movie? You watch SpongeBob? That's what he says to me. I'm like, yeah, let's watch some SpongeBob. So SpongeBob starts playing, and then he's just like, and the whole time I'm just like looking over at my wife like, come on, man. It's just like I don't know why I speak his language type of thing.
You don't know why?
Yeah. I mean, he got his autism from somebody, and it wasn't my wife. So either it was me or the man she cheated on me with. But
and he looks exactly like you. So
right, yeah. So I mean, look, there could be. I mean, I'm fat white guy. I'm copy paste white guy, fat white dude. I'm like, come on, there's plenty of guys out there that look like me. But I mean, there is you are their parent. You should learn. And then there's a parent that does know how to do things better. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, she needs to learn how to know at the detriment of my baby sitting there screaming.
Yeah. You know? No, but like, I mean, I think in this case, like he got her all wound up. And then as soon as it's not working out for him to get her to like go, like, I think not saving him is one thing, but yeah, you got to show up for your kid. But I think this is a learning moment of being like, hey, the video game is very stimulating. She was already stimulated, and now you are trying to like take her to 11 and then get her to go hop in a bath. That's not how that's going to work out. Like, you need to ramp her down now after the video games. You need to figure that out. Like, for one thing, you're on a team, so right. You guys need to communicate. But yeah, like, I don't think she's an asshole for simply saying like, hey, you created this monster, go for it. But yeah, there's a learning moment that could happen there.
And I mean, this doesn't sound like she's throwing a fit or anything like that. Like when Theo throws a fit and he's not understanding something, he's like screaming and crying and he's snubbing and shit like that. So her just being very energetic, and here comes all the fucking with their fucking thing. She's being energetic right now, and he's got to find a way to bring that down to get her to go take a bath. If she's verbal and she like can understand stuff, they're neurodivergent kids, okay? But then there's also parents who crutch on that. Mm-hmm. They'll crutch on that. And when a child's being bad, they'll be like, well, this child's just neurodivergent. And you're setting that child up for failure. Yeah. Like in a way, yes, there are different ways you go about it. But then you still have regular parent techniques like, hey, bud, we're eating dinner. You got to try this, okay? I have one child, he is verbal. He's still neurodivergent. That's still not a pass to go through the normal childhood things. You're not going to live your life eating chicken nuggets and stuff like that. And we have expanded what he eats. He eats steak now. He eats, what were we having? So we had chicken tacos last night. He was eating chicken tacos. We're going to try the things we have for dinner. I understand you're going to not like the texture of stuff, but then once mom says it, he crutches on that. He's like, well, I don't enjoy the texture of these things. No. We're going to try it. If I haven't seen you try it, we're going to try it. I'm not going to go on your word that you don't like the texture of it. If we try it, you don't like it. But then 9 times out of 10, we get a, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we don't crutch on that. If your child is sitting there being very energetic and not wanting to take a bath, dog, you got to be a dad too. Like you have to say, hey, we just had fun. It's time to take a bath and start, winding down and getting ready for bed.
Well, and you learn those techniques of like one thing with a kid is as soon as you can get their attention on something else, they forget about what they were upset about. Like you should as a parent know what is causing your kid to do this, and it's not going to work flawlessly every time, but you should at least have a kind of a procedure that you go through to like, oh, when they act like this, if I can get them at least thinking about something else, I can get them off that train and get them over to where I'm trying to get them to. Like, but that's being a decent parent.
Yeah, my middle son, he has a big thing with he will, if he feels upset about something, he'll just sit down and he'll stare at his mom. And then she'll go, what? He'll go, nothing. And then she'll be like, what's wrong, baby? And like she'll, and
play into what he's.
Yeah. So then I sit down and he's sitting there staring at me. I'm like, hey, buddy, will you not stare at me? Like, I'm trying to enjoy something. I understand you're not enjoying right now that you had to go clean your room. And I understand you're upset about that. But can you not stare at me while I'm enjoying something? And then he's just like looking at me. And I'm like, yeah, that same stuff doesn't work on, mom. And like he'll do it in front of his mom. And I'll be like, hey, bud, we don't do that. And then he had playfully told mom to shut up during a thing they were doing. So then when times got serious, he thought he could do the same. I'm like, hey, you don't disrespect your mom like that. He was like, well, I was just playing. I was like, well, there's a time to play and there's a time to, it's just explaining stuff to a child. And even though he's neurodivergent and I understand things, he's going to process things differently. I'm not sitting there, being like, why are you not more sociable and shit like that? But I'm still going to be like, hey, we need to be more sociable. If you feel like people aren't playing with you, it's not because they don't want to play with you. It's probably because you're not being approachable to play with. Not everybody's going to understand that, someone needs to be like, hey, will you play with us for you to play with them? Maybe go up and talk to them, especially when we're on a playground or something like that. Go up and say, hey, do you guys want to play and stuff like that? I'm not saying, hey, if you're playing by yourself, go hang out with, kids more. But if you are feeling bad because other kids won't play with you, ask them about, hey, do you want to play? Because I understand you're neurodivergent, okay? Everybody else doesn't understand what that is, okay? So, we got to talk to people, talk to other kids, and it is difficult, but at the same time, you don't make excuses. Like
that's what people do is they say neurodivergent, and so then
they raise the worst fucking kid you have ever seen in your life, and they say, well, that's because of ADHD. And I'm like, really? Because I have a son who has ADHD, and he's, by all accounts, a fucking great kid to fucking be around.
But you never let them learn those things because just because you're neurodivergent and like maybe you aren't socially, you don't have a good social IQ of knowing how to develop those relationships. But if you automatically say that that's why, and then you never help them develop some sort of social cues and how to interact with people, it never gets better. Like it is one of those things where it's a learned behavior in a similar right because you're never putting them in those situations where they start to learn the cues. And so, yes, you end up a lot of times, like especially the younger adults that I see that it's been a crutch. They just act like shits, and then they're like, well, I'm neurodivergent. No, that doesn't give you an excuse to be a shit.
And that drives me up a goddamn wall because then you take somebody like me who is, this fucking dude who's making jokes and shit like that. And I'm sitting here fucking studying like matching and like word repetition and stuff like that to help my children along and to have them better understand things and shit like that. And then you got some fucking 19-year-old kid that's like, well, I'm a shit because I'm neurodivergent. That doesn't fucking mean a thing. Or my child is very, very bad because they're neurodivergent. Or don't talk about that child right there because they could be neurodivergent. And I'm like, no, because I live this fucking life. I've seen plenty of kids who are neurodivergent that are amazing kids, okay? And then I've seen kids who are neurodivergent be fucking animals out there, and their parent is sitting there not parenting them while they're being fucking crazed lunatics, okay? And don't sit there and be like, well, it's because they're neurodivergent. And I'm like, no, we have all this evidence that says, hey, you can work with your child, even if they're, neurotypical or not neurotypical, and say, hey, like, these are problem areas. We can fix these.
Well, and you can have a neurotypical child that acts just like that neurodivergent child because the parent doesn't show up and help
Correct.
them through those processes. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying that there aren't going to be times where, yes, that is because of their neurodivergency, but that's where you go in and you help coach and you help work through those things, because they don't just get a free pass. Like, it doesn't matter what your disability is. Like, you don't just get a free pass to never like have to learn these things. Like, it's not just like, oh, this is the camp you're in, so you're just fine over here. Don't worry about it, what anybody says. No, you can help them get closer. And it's not even like you have to be normal. Like, everybody can be weird in their own way. Even the most normal people are weird about stuff. Like, they, whether they eat, whatever. Like, there's weird things that our brain does. And that's just not an automatic pass to be a shit towards other people.
Right.
Like, if you're into weird stuff, that's cool. Have fun with it. But you don't get a pass to then treat people bad or to act like a crazy person simply because you have this disability. Like, it's not just a free pass. Like, you still should be learning how to interact with people.
Well, that was a big thing in the horse kicking video where the lady didn't want the kid to come back because she was afraid he was going to get hurt. And a lot of the fucking comment section was like, yeah, she didn't even check if he was neuro. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He's a bad kid. He is a bad child. You can say he's not neurotypical, he's neurodivergent. You could throw any word on it. That is a bad child whom the parents have not worked with, not tried to get help, nothing like that. They have failed that child. That child is unsafe to be there. Ergo, that child should not be there.
Yeah, and that's a parent thing. That's not the person that's instructing. Like, unless it's a special camp for just neurodivergent children. Like, if you're bringing a neurodivergent child into just a regular thing, you can't expect everybody to then have
everything they're doing,
have the training and the expertise to know how to deal with this. Like, that kid was putting himself in danger and then also putting other kids in danger. And so you don't just get a free pass for your kid to do whatever the hell they want in that moment in time because they have a certain, diagnosis. That's not where. So the kid was being dangerous. So you as a parent need to step up and actually handle your kid. Not just every stranger needs to be like, oh, well, this is all acceptable because they're neurodivergent. So there's two relevant comments. Orange Flows says, not the asshole. Our therapist is adamant that I stop stepping in while my husband is parenting. I do it for exactly the same reasons you do. Husband isn't educating himself, and the results can be escalating dysregulation from both parties and meltdowns. He, my husband, and yours needs to learn to adjust his parenting style to the kids' needs, not expect a perfectly behaved adult in a neurodivergent child's body. And then Satan McCool says, I was hoping this was a story about food.
Yeah, that was the title. I thought he was going to cook something. But as soon as she said 5-year-old, I was like, oh God. Is the 5-year-old going to cook something? And then she's like, you eat that? Because then you're a terrible parent.
Well, it's saying the husband eat what he cooked. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was going to put that at the top and like forewarn. And I was like, no, let's just let this play out. Because I thought when I first read it, I was like, what's this about? Like, food.
Where's the food at? Yeah.
And then I read it and I was like, oh, because the dad gets the kid all ramped up. But I mean, my wife turned like me onto the whole gentle parenting thing.
She also turns you on. That's how we have a kid.
It is. She does that on a frequent basis. Just a little titty flash.
They don't have to do, women don't have to do anything. It's just like nothing. My wife was like, and what a shitty thing for my wife to do. But she puts on these new underwear that she has. It doesn't show like a panty liner or something like that. And she was like, look how good these are. They're so comfy. And I'm just like, well, now I'm turned on. Because
now we've got to do the business.
Yeah, you're in panties. Like, what do? You just trying to ruin my day?
But like, she showed me the gentle parenting thing. And so I went down the rabbit hole and like learned a bunch of shit about it. And it's funny because she's either like the sweetest or like in aggravated mode. And I was like, there's in between. And like, so the gentle parenting is like, you don't have to go to the aggravated as quickly. And that's kind of like it's not that they don't have consequences. That's one of the funniest things is because I've heard so much shit talked about it, but like I've been able to exactly like what you do with your son is I know how to take my daughter from her being upset to, okay, let's get out of the upset mode and then we can teach you what got us there. Maybe next time we can figure out a different way to handle this. And I try to keep on that arc. But my wife's just like, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, you don't have to go to like super mad immediately. Like she's not trying to offend you. You're just offended. And it's funny because that's kind of why I'm on the wife's side on that is like the husband needs to learn how to deal with these situations. And so if he gets her ramped up with a video game, how do you get her back into a normal state? So then she's cool with and bath time's fun. Like my daughter, she'll be like, I don't want to take a bath.
That's the craziest thing. Cause bro, any of my kids, when they were little, bath time, fuck yes, let's do this. Like this is what I've been wanting to do all day. About time. So
see, we do like once a week bath. And so she forgets that she enjoys the bath. And so then I have to talk her into it. And then as soon as she's in, she's like, oh, and we've got like one of those jacuzzi tubs. And so sometimes I'm just like, do you
rich?
I mean, I bought the house and it already had it in it. Like, I mean, they didn't charge extra for the jacuzzi
All right,
tub.
Scrooge McDuck.
But yeah, when she gets in the bath and we turn on the jets and then she has the bubbles going, has a blast. But she forgets about that the next time that we have to do a bath. She's like, I don't want to take a bath. Sure enough, enjoys it.
Gentle parenting is shit. It's empathy parenting. Like that is
I guess the
imagine, imagining yourself as a child, thinking about like, all right, why is my child being so fucking, why are they being crazy right now? What's going on? Like what's happening? And it's just always having conversations. Like there's gentle parenting, but then when your kid fucks up, they got to know they fucked up. Like they got to know that things are bad. And a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, they do something bad and maybe they're throwing a fucking fit or something. This is where you need a parent. It's like, this is not where you need a parent. Because right now you got a fucking very emotional person. Imagine you are having the same emotions. You're flying with rage or whatever. And then somebody's like, hey, bud, it's time for a lesson. That's not going to work. But also too, it's like, if you're being disrespectful, you're being disrespectful. The funniest thing my wife ever did was when my daughter was little, she's like, we don't say the word lie anymore. We say not reals. And I was like, no, because I want my daughter to know if she's a liar. I want my daughter to know when she's encountered a liar, she's going to know what lies are. Like that, we're not going to hide words. We're not going to shield ourselves from that stuff. How about instead of focusing on like vocabulary, we focus on raising a good human being. Okay. Yeah. Because vocabulary, that's something you can, we've learned words that we used when we were kids are not good today. We could just throw those out of our vocabulary. But patterns that we formed as children are sometimes hard to break as adults. How about we focus more on that? And
yeah, one of the ones that we worked on, and it was hard to do, but like we just don't say no. Like we explain the situation. We don't just say like, no, you can't do that. No. Because I know it becomes a crutch, like to just be like, no, stop, don't do that. And we took that out of our vocabulary when we were raising my daughter. And I mean, she's 5, so we're still raising her. But we didn't just go to the no, you can't do that. We would fully
imagine that you are wanting to do something and then somebody just says no.
Yeah.
Well, why? Well, why can't we do that?
And so we just start with the why.
Yeah, and that's a good way to do it. My son will be like, hey, Dad, can we play game games right now? And I'll be like, hey, I don't really feel like playing video games right now, bud. I just got back from playing volleyball. Is there anything else you want to do? Yeah. And he's like, oh, can we watch a movie together? Fuck yeah, we can watch that. It requires nothing. Yeah. So it's a lot easier to, instead of just saying no and not giving in there, and just kind of saying why you do that with your daughter, is because then your child's just like, okay, why can't we do that? It's just adding in that why we're not doing something right now. Why we're not going to the park. Hey, bud, it's 40 degrees outside because that's what we got today. You ready to go to the park, Dad? I'm like, bud, it dropped 30 degrees since yesterday. It's freezing cold outside. Which he was like, nuh-uh. Let's go stand on the front porch. He's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I'm not. Do I look like a weather guy? Do I look like a weather nerd to you, bud?
I mean, you do play one on TV.
Here's a story about parents that failed their kid. I had a student hit a new low the other day. I'm now fearful for the next generation and that they will be the death of me.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Go on, nerd. For context, I'm a professor of communications located somewhere in the United States. Pray this did not happen to you at a college near you. Usually I could take a lot of things in stride. When it comes to students, I would like to think that I can handle practically anything. Teaching at an institution where many students are first-generation college attendees will always bring unique challenges. I realize that many do not have much life experience to work with, nor have they traveled to different places. I must keep this in mind as I work with them daily. If I didn't do that, I would probably snap. One student recently pushed me to the limit of my stupidity tolerance. I knew I was in for a long semester when she openly admitted the first week of class that she was only in college to earn her Mrs. MRS, which means she's trying to find a hubby. It was the first time I ever heard this spoken aloud. For the sake of this story, I will now call her Miss Manhunter. She was looking for a husband to marry who would take care of her. Our school has an exceptional law in medical schools, so I think she was haunting those halls hoping to find Mr. Right now. However, I knew Miss Manhunter would be a handful for whomever she was with, and she dropped a little nugget of knowledge that floored me. Her words still haunt me, and I am considering chiseling her quote on my grave marker so that it will never vanish into the ether of history. I tasked Miss Manhunter's class with formulating a persuasive speech. I let students work in groups because I figured they should pitch their ideas to people who would hear what they presented. I walked around the room, giving points to consider when they concocted their ideas. When I arrived at the group with Little Miss Manhunter, a student proposed that we should colonize the moon. This topic sounds like a great little speech, but I must interject my sarcastic 2 cents. I mentioned that I believe we should blow up the moon, just like Alexander Abian proposed in the 1990s. The student I was talking to understood that I was joking. However, Miss Manhunter did not grasp my reply was dripping with sarcasm. She promptly replied without hesitation that if we blew up the moon, there would no longer be night. The moon brings the darkness. I don't know. That's some shit that people back when humanity started thought. They was like, I don't know what this little ball is, but it brings with it the night.
Well, that's the crazy thing. So you don't watch Mark Rober, but technically the moon is out like 50% during the day and 50% during the night. Like the way that he explained it, I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but legitimately, like it's out during the day. And somebody, I think it was my older daughter, she said like that's called a sister moon, and blah blah blah, it only happens. And I was like, no, it happens all the time. Like you just don't know where it's at, but like if it's there, you can see it. Day, night, doesn't matter.
Right. The moon is only in the sky for so long. So however long it is that you see it during the daytime, during night you will not see it equally as much, and vice versa. If you don't see it out during the daytime, then it'll be longer in the night sky, and that's just how the rotation of the Earth works.
Oh, I think the way that he broke it down was like if it's a half moon, it's half day, half night, and then if it's like a quarter, it's I can't remember. It blew my mind, and then when I went and looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
The moment those words hit my ear, everything stopped. The little hamster in my brain decided it was time to go on vacation because I couldn't formulate a sentence responding to her blithering lunacy. Thankfully, the first student recognized I was having problems and tried her best to explain to Miss Manhunter how night and day worked. Even with the explanations, she insisted that the moon brings nighttime like the sun brings daylight. I do not drink, but this was one moment in my life where I seriously considered taking up the habit.
Flat Earth.
Yeah, we're flat. Everything else is round that we can observe.
Well, and the light from the sun that's still over top of us just doesn't reach us.
I saw a post that was talking about, it showed like this crazy looking aura that one of the SpaceX rockets caused. And people were like, well, that's because his rocket hit the firmament and was bounced off. All right, bud, you live your life. You go out there and live. You go out there and vote, buddy.
Procreate.
Go out there and vote. Yeah. Teach your kids that. Indoctrinate your kids with that. Gone.
The one, I mean, I know there's probably a multitude of things that would get fucked up without the moon, but like the biggest thing for me would be like
women's periods.
Yeah. Waves and tides and stuff would go away. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
like a flat ocean. Other than I don't know. I don't know what else would get fucked up, like weather patterns. I guess a whole shitload of stuff.
A whole shitload of stuff. Yeah, yeah. The moon is there. It's what is it? Is it the gravitational pull of the moon, or is it the Earth's gravitational pull against the moon that is causing the tides?
It's the moon. It's like gravitational pull towards it because
it's like reflecting like a magnet, right? And it's causing the waves.
So like the Earth holds the moon in, but then the moon is pulling like the water
out,
I think.
I don't know how it all works.
I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. I do believe scientists. I believe the guys that went to school and they can explain things.
And they did a bunch of math equations to make it all make sense.
Right. And that all of their science is not based off of one God out of 3,000 religions.
And a book that was written thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Am I overreacting?
When guys were like, I don't know what women are, but they're not us. So they don't get as much stuff as we do.
And they made women out of a singular rib.
Mm-hmm. Sprouted a whole woman. Go fucking rip out one of your ribs and bury it in the ground. See how long it takes for a woman to
grow
sprout.
you a woman.
Grow you a woman.
All right.
There you go, incels. Remove a rib and grow you a grow a bitch. We'll sell grow a bitch kits, okay?
There you go.
And what you do is it's a knife, an incision knife, and then you have something to like break the rib off.
Like a saw.
And you do it on yourself in your room, okay? And then you can just grow you a bitch.
Am I overreacting? It's not you, it's me. My husband, 38 male, won't have sex with me, 34 female, but has no problem masturbating. We've been together for several years, and the last couple of years, he's just isn't interested in having sex with me. I've tried talking to him about it. We usually end up fighting because he gets defensive. If I mention his masturbation habits, it's a full-blown fight almost instantly. Finally, I broke down in tears and explained that I feel hideous, unwanted, and that I must disgust him if he won't so much as caress my body when we sleep. He won't run his hands on my skin or touch me romantically or intimately at all. Even if I put his hands on my waist, he just moves them or holds my hand instead. Anyway, so I broke down into tears, and he said that it was because he didn't feel good about himself. I explained what that was doing to me, and he said he would work on it. Months later, we haven't had sex once. For Valentine's Day, I got us some sex toys, bought a sexy outfit, and when he opened the gifts, he just said, "Oh, cool," and we never used any of them. He got me a teddy bear and chocolates, but I don't even like that stuff. The other day, I noticed that the lube I bought for Valentine's Day was missing, and I asked him what happened to it, and he said he must have thrown it out accidentally, but later I found it in his bathroom drawer.
What are you doing, dog?
Like, sex is way better than masturbation all day long. Like, I understand sometimes you just got to take care of it yourself, but like, this is a woman that actively wants to have sex with you, and you are neglecting her.
She's buying all sorts of stuff to make it more fun, and you're like, no.
And none of that stuff is needed.
Maybe this is part of the porn addiction.
Well, it's probably porn addiction, and then he could be into...
But porn addiction, it's like, I don't know, it's like a guy, he won't work, he won't like work on his relationship with his wife because he finds that satisfaction in porn. But this girl is just like, I want to fuck now, big dog, now, all the time. And he's just like, nope.
Well, there's no mention of like, kids or anything like getting in the way. This is just a husband and wife. And other than that, there's no like scheduling.
I don't like to throw this out on, a guy not wanting to sleep with his wife. Okay. I don't like to throw this out all willy nilly, but I think dog is, yeah. I think you are just not part of, you ain't got the right genitals for what gets him in the mood.
He likes the chicks with the dicks.
Right. Or just the dick part.
Just the dicks.
Yeah, he just likes the dick part.
Because they're so symmetrical and they're just perfectly designed.
The perfect design, which to new listeners, they're like, ooh, these guys are gay. Cool. I was trying to find a podcast with some gay podcasters, and you found it. We're here. I got a big black box boyfriend.
All right.
And he protects.
And your wife doesn't mind.
He protects what's his. And I'm his.
So I don't even know what to do about this anymore. I've had thoughts about cheating on him, but end up pushing them out of my mind. He's my best friend.
Listen, normally I'm not like a cheat on somebody, but after hearing all this, girl, you got to do something. Like,
well, I think it's, break it off.
Like divorce.
Well, that's like the story we read a few episodes back where the husband, like the wife just stopped having sex. And like he asked for an open relationship. If she didn't want to do it, could he get somebody else? And then she divorced him because he was going to cheat on her.
But it's crazy because he's like masturbating, and she knows he's got like a chronic.
He has a
masturbation
sexual
thing.
drive.
Yeah, there's a sex drive there. He's just not sharing it with her, and that's look. Sex is a big part of a relationship, and obviously she's trying to talk to him about it. It's not working. She's going out of her way. Like, but yeah, I'm always aboard. I'll make the jokes about cheating on. You should always break it off before cheating on somebody.
So she says, I don't want to leave because he's my best friend, and aside from the lack of sex, everything else is wonderful. I know sex isn't something that lasts forever in a lifelong relationship. I mean, it should. Like, there's no reason that sex can't last your whole entire relationship all the way up into your...
Let's see, I am damn near 14 years into a relationship, and she throws that thing on me. So I'm going to assume 10 more years from now, that thing's still being thrown. So
relevant comments. Troubled Muse says, I can hella relate, like on a wild level. I got my husband and I some stuff for Valentine's Day, and because I try really hard not to give negative vibes to him masturbating, I got something just for him and then something else for us, and he uses his all the time, but the other thing never left the box. Mine said that he isn't happy with his self-image, but he doesn't realize what he's doing to mine. Or so I thought. Lately, I'm starting to feel like he doesn't care because I've told him 100 times by now, and while he says he'll work on it, things only get worse. Meanwhile, we are best friends, never fight, are very thoughtful and caring, and obviously love each other. He's kind of a bigger guy, so I understand why he might be self-conscious, but I literally don't care. I love him and am super attracted to him. His weight has never bothered me. I don't know... This isn't advice, and I'm sorry. I'm just saying I'm in the same boat, and I'm sorry you are going through that.
I think we do have to be fair in this situation. Now, the masturbation is throwing me off. It's throwing me for a loop. But if a woman has body issues and she's just feeling self-conscious to her sex, we do give her more of a leeway, and it's like, you talk to a therapist and everything like that. So we may put this towards a guy. I'm just saying it is very different when we hear it from a guy not liking his self-image. The only thing that's really fucking just throwing me for a loop is the masturbation thing.
Well, I think the big thing with any of that is if your partner is feeling self-conscious, you should be backing them up. And I do think women get more of a pass on that. The man needs to do that when they're feeling self-conscious, but they don't necessarily show that, like, damn, you're sexy. God, I just want to, like, is that flirtation? Like, yes, you're saying you want to have sex, but is there, like, not that men are as much of an oven as women are, but they still do want to feel desired. And, like, so, yes, you're saying you want to have sex, but are you putting in the foreplay of trying to get him
she's buying toys, lingerie?
Well, yeah, but that's still just the act. Like,
yeah, because if we were doing that for a woman who, didn't want to have sex because of any various, it's not, taking away the stressors to get her to the dance. And that might be a thing too, is that he is completely fucking overworked and tired and, doing all this shit. We don't know what his kind of job situation is or any of that stuff. But if we put this in the context of a woman going through this, they do get a much bigger pass where we're immediately like, he's gay. That was on us not having that wherewithal to say, hey, maybe he has a lot of shit going on. Maybe he's stressed out and does have these insecurity issues, and maybe it is easier for him to masturbate. Well, yeah, look at us fucking learning and we didn't even have to read nothing.
No, but I think that's one of the, I've talked with my wife about it over the years, is like, I do have to put in that effort to ensure that she feels wanted and desired. But like with women, they've never been like they always want to be the one chased. They want to be the one that's like, the object of affection. But a lot of times they don't see that guys like to feel that way too. Like just giving compliments about, like, you look good, blah, blah, blah. Any of those things, it doesn't normally, because women never had to do that in the dating part. They didn't have to show, all they had to do was be interested. They didn't have to show it on a giant level.
Right.
Whereas a guy pretty much knows that that's expected. And so they'll constantly be touching on their wife because they know that that's what works. But women, especially if you're talking about like a long marriage, like it'd be easy for a guy to be like, I don't, like, yes, she wants sex, but like, does she actually like find me attractive? Does she think I'm handsome still? I put on some weight, so am I still sexy to her? And I think not that they would fix everything, because masturbation is kind of like it's a quick fix. And I mean, I know that women do that too. They'll just buy a toy. That toy is easier than, having sex with their husband. And so it will start to outweigh the intimacy. And if any of that's really getting in your way, it's a problem with your relationship. And you guys, it sounds like you guys are talking about it though. So like he should get the picture.
This is the start, yeah. And if you two can't work it out together, maybe getting outside help will. Now, I'm not going to be the one that's like, oh, we've hit a roadblock in our relationship. I'm not going to be the one that's like immediately like, this is like therapy. I'm not going to say therapy either. It's just like starting with the communication. And then if that's not working, outside help. And then if he's reluctant to do this, then we could say it as a him thing. But it is also looking at what he has going on in life that maybe something like that is interfering with his sex life. Well, and it's really hard for us to look at this through this point of view, because at no point, if my wife was like, right now, things could be hard. 12 hours, 7 days a week, I was still there.
The only thing that gets in my way is like the fact of our living arrangement. So like kids sleeping in the bed, and like, so a lot of normal life schedule is what gets in the way of that time. So like we can say it, but in that moment we can't do it. So like those are the roadblocks. And so I get where it might not be, but like with this, there's no mention of kids. And so like, that's obviously not.
How heavy of a sleeper is your daughter?
I mean,
no, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, how heavy of a sleeper is he? Not that. Fuck that. No, that's you never have sex near a kid. None of that shit. No, what we do is, and it sounds weird when I started with that, but because our nonverbal son, he sleeps with us. But if it's that time, we have a bed for him in a separate room. So I'm able to pick him up, put him in bed in there. I just can't put him in bed in that bed.
No. She like, and that's
hopefully nobody turned off. They were like, whoa, Mike, no, I got to turn off this podcast before they heard my explanation.
No, but it's one of those things where my wife likes sleep. So she goes to bed early, and like, so me and my daughter will stay up late. So
yeah, no, we do
the timing and everything like that. And, we make time, we find time, but it's not, a lot of times my wife will be like, oh, I miss when we were, first getting together. Well, yeah, when we first were getting together, there was no kids in the house. Like I was working 12-hour days, but like I had a lot of time off. And so we have some days where that's all, like that was the only activity for the day. And there was multiple times. We're not going to have that, 5 years married and 10 years together. She's running a business. I'm running businesses. And so like all this stuff, it'd be great, but it's not the reality we live in. We've built this life, and unfortunately we got to live in that life. And so sometimes we have to make compromises of the time. But
I mean, that's like us too. It's more of like we're so scheduled though. Like we know pretty much, everybody's schedule and everything like that. And it would be different if, my wife was running a business or anything like that. But normally, when she is taking the role of making sure the kids live, it is a lot easier to then be like, we can kind of like schedule these things out. But I know if like she's drinking tequila, I put my boy to bed and then I move him to another bed, and I'm an expert at that, dude. Like I'm carrying him through the hallway. Last time though, and I could kind of see it from this husband's point of view because I was out of the mood then. But I hit my foot, like the side of my foot. And it was so weird because you're so used to stubbing your toes and everything. But I hit the bone on the side of my foot on a dresser and proceed to step on a toy train. In one fell swoop, I was like, oh, and I have him in my arms. And then I lay him in bed and I'm sitting there and I have like because it's a bunk bed because it's way easier to at level exchange him onto that bed. But I'm holding on to the side of the bunk bed. I'm just like, ugh. And she was like, come here, big boy. I'm like, fuck you. Leave me alone right now. Don't talk to me.
It's game day. You gotta.
Oh, yeah. I shook it off real quick. I got over the injury. I went back into the game. You know what I'm saying? You got to get you a little bit of Gatorade, slap yourself in the face. You got to push through the pain, okay?
So the finish of this is, it's lonely and discouraging and confusing, and the feelings of worthlessness and pain are heavily weighed on one side of the scale, and it's scary to think that you may not be worth more than that the porn, smut, fear of vulnerability, or whatever else is keeping him from physically loving you. OP
So it
says,
does now that she says porn though, because I think this is the first mention of porn.
this is a commenter, not.
Oh, okay.
But the OP then says, that's so validating to read someone being able to explain the way this feels. Thank you for putting that into words.
Okay, so it is a porn thing. It might be more of a porn addiction than he's tired. And I honestly, when we start talking about porn addiction, it just feels like it's addiction, and then you do need to get help, because ain't shit two podcasters are going to say to fix a porn addiction. If we're that deep into just non-reality of sex, then.
Well, and I think it is one of those, it becomes habitual to the point that you neglect the things that, like, I think the biggest thing with these two women, though, is they're both saying that, like, we are trying. And if you aren't showing up, like, I can't remember how long she said it's been, but, like, the fact that it's going months in between and she is actively chasing after you and you can't find any time, can't decide, like, you should be throwing her a bone, literally.
Well, he's getting that satisfaction from porn. He doesn't have to do anything.
But you should be throwing
fix.
her a bone.
Right.
Like, you should be, if she's wanting
I see why you laughed at that. That was a good pun, throwing her a bone.
But, like, it's not like you have to do it multiple times a day or anything, or more than once a week. Like, you just have to show her that she's desired, that it's not.
If your girl wants it more than once a week and you ain't delivering, buddy, you got the opposite problem of a lot of men in America.
Yeah, you're married and she wants it.
But also at the same time, the guys who are like, oh, I feel validated by that comment. What are you doing that's preventing your wife from wanting it more than once a week? Because so now, and look, I will absolutely listen to, what my wife has going on and everything like that. The thing we're not going to sit here and play is who has it harder, okay? This is a partnership. If there are things that I know I can do and take off your plate, I'll absolutely do that. So, we got all the work and stuff like that. But now what I do is like and this is what people don't understand about household too. If you clean something and it's clean and then you just kind of maintain it, it stays clean. So what I did for my wife was I was like, listen, the only thing you handle is dishes and laundry and then cooking food, because now she's meal prepping for me. And when I'm like, hey, I want to eat healthier, I want to do meal prep and stuff like that, that's another thing that she would have on top of the kids, yada, 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 everything that she's doing during the day. So all the rooms I clean up, I make sure they're clean before I go to bed. And then when she takes the kids to work and I'm getting up ready to come do the podcast and everything.
You got your kids working already? Man, that's good.
Kids to go to school. Before I go to work, then I will pick back up. So the only thing she has to worry about is, dishes, laundry, because I'm sorry, even if those were my things, they're not going to be done well. Yeah, they're not going to be done well. And it's like, women will hear that and they'll be like, well, as a man, you should know how to. And it's like, I have taken a lot of what my wife would be doing. I've taken that away. I do that stuff. And then you just don't understand as a man how much more you get from your wife when you take those things away that she has to do, and that causes her stress of, if she's like, man, I got this big ass to-do list. If you take half of that to-do list, that takes away a lot of the stress in her life. So when I knew when I was approaching her about this meal prep thing, because I fucking suck at cooking. I can learn how to cook, but then it's another stressor in my life. So if I know, hey, I know this woman, she can cook like a motherfucker, I want her to cook more, then I know I have to take more things off of her. So where I had like a certain set of the house where I would keep clean, and she would, I'm like, I'll keep everything clean, and we'll do it like this, so it's not adding a fuck ton more onto your plate. And I found out early in my relationship, I was a young guy, and I was like, why does she want to have sex with me? This is, we're having sex like bi-weekly. What's happening? I'm trying to have more of this sex. And she's like, oh, I'm tired. She's working, maintaining the house, doing cleaning stuff. Yeah, I'm working 12 hours, 7 days a week. We could sit here and argue about who has more to do or whatever. Or I could just be like, hey, how can I help out in this situation? Even though I have a lot to do, she has a lot to do. We have a kid. And then the more stuff I started to do, the more pussy I started to get. I was like, wait a minute, if I make this bitch not tired, she likes me a lot. So, and that's ultimately how a partnership works. If you can do it. Just, it doesn't matter If you're like, I feel like I do more than her, if you can do it. And it's also just having the respect for your partner, saying, hey, as a person, if I took this away from her, would that make her day better? I want to make her day better. So I'm going to do that. And then if you care about how she's feeling and what she's going through on her day to day, and you're like, fuck, I want to make this better for her. It just makes your relationship better overall.
Well, and I think there's a lot of those hacks, like exactly what you're saying is, if you keep something clean, it's easier to keep something clean than it is to let it get in squalor and then try to bring it back. Because there's a guy, and I've seen a couple of his posts on the internet, and he just has a smart way of talking about it. He's like, it's called Ohio. Only handle it once. So like when you take something out of a package, you don't just set the package there. Like if you're going to throw it away, you have it. Throw it away in that moment. Like do not. And like when I get up to go to the kitchen, if there's any dishes or anything from anybody eating or drinking that's no longer used, I just go ahead and grab it then and take it. And I don't put it in the sink if the dishwasher's like getting loaded. I just immediately put it in the dishwasher. So there's not a bunch to do. And the more you find those easy hacks, and like if you can get everybody in your house on board, there's really not a lot of cleaning to do. There's general upkeep, but there's not like, oh man, this place is a mess, let's clean it up. Like, I mean, like the studio got, and then we were spending like the whole day cleaning. If we just maintain what we have now, it's way easier to be like, oh, we got guests coming over, let's clean up.
I don't know what it is about daughters, man, but their rooms will get trashed. So I didn't really implement chores. And then I was like, okay, we're going to at least, do bare minimum. Well, bare minimum didn't work. You try things out as a parent. Sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm like, you guys are getting chores now. Like you're going to do chores, but it's going to be your shit.
They say it's like super healthy for kids.
You're not cleaning up my shit. You're cleaning up your shit. If you fuck it up, you're just going to clean it up. It's easy like that. So I get my daughter. She cleans her room. She's got she was making necklaces. There was beads in her carpet. Of course, I come in, like I vacuum and help her out with the last little bit. So then a couple days later, she has like 2 or 3 things on her floor. I'm like, hey, we clean up your room? She's like, there's nothing really to clean up. I was like, yeah, but pick that up, because what happens when there's 2 or 3 things in the floor? Well, after a week, there's going to be 4 or 5 things in the floor, and then there's going to be stuff
15,
on your dresser, and then you're going through a whole big event. So now she just picks up her room once a day, and then she ain't got to do shit. It's a crazy life hack. But I'm not ever going to have my kids doing my shit, cleaning up after me, doing some fucking like, when we were kids, we did all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like if there was stuff to be done, we did it all. It didn't matter who made the mess. I'm not of that mindset. You got to fix anybody else's mistake. If your dad fucks something up, dad's going to clean it up. If y'all fuck something up, you clean it up.
Well, I think it's fair to like, I think when I was a kid, it was Saturdays. Every Saturday we cleaned up. And so we clean everything up, take shit to the dump. Like Saturday was our cleaning day. And so my mom would go through and like clean the floors, but like it was all hands on deck. There was nobody that was getting out of cleaning. And I think it's fair, like with our 14-year-old, she has to do the dishes. Like when she's there, and the rule is if she puts the clean dishes up and the dishwasher is empty and can be loaded, everybody has to put their dirty dishes into the dishwasher. They don't get to just set them by the sink and her have to load them.
Right.
Like every once in a while there'll be some stuff and I'll just be like, hey, there's like 3 things over there. Just throw it in the dishwasher. And get that that's the part of the rule. But like if your mom left something out or your sister put something up there, just put it in there. It's not a huge deal. Like it's not a sink full of dirty dishes. Right. So just go ahead and take care of it. But those are those responsibilities that you are part of the household. You're kind of getting older. You should participate like we do, because you are wanting to do adult things. You want to go to your friend's house and stay the night. You want to like go and let you go to these sporting events by yourself and everything. So if you're going to be responsible, you have to show responsibility. Like soon you'll be driving a car. You'll be, we have to trust that you're going to be responsible. And like, so you just take on little responsibilities. One thing that I wish I could get her to do is the cat boxes, but I can't.
I can't get a motherfucking soul in the house to do the cat boxes, and everybody wants these cats but me. Well, I love egg. I don't know what it is about a majestic beast that minds its own business. That's what's beautiful about a cat. a cat, you'll forget them, they fucking exist. And then every so often they'll just like come up and be like, hey, what's up, man? You'll be like, oh my God, this majestic beast wants me to interact with it. Dogs? Oh my, get the fuck away from me, dude.
No.
I'm not in this. Everybody else was like, we'll get you and we'll take care of you. I got to do everything.
I'm 100% more dog than cat.
I fucking love me a cat, man.
But we've got 3 cats and they all love me and like want to hang out on me. And so my wife gets super pissed because she's like, you don't even really want them. And I was like, I don't. And they know that. So they try to butter me up and say like, hey, bud. But I don't mind cats. I do not mind them except for their bathroom habits. I hate their bathroom habits because like we have a male cat and he sprays and I'm like, dude, this is your fucking cave. Like quit spraying your fucking piss in our cave. Like
right, you
stop
live
doing
here,
it.
dude.
Yeah. But
our egg don't do that. He's a boy. The other 2 are spayed though. So I don't know if it's because, the cat smells like other cats that can get, I don't know if the other cats smell like male cats because they've been fucking around with male cats. But I know we have 2 cats. Those are the ones we found at the lake. And they were born outside. They go outside. I don't give a fuck about that. Egg, you don't go outside. You're an inside cat. You ain't got no business going out there. They were born in that shit. They had to survive out there. They know what they're doing out there. They were little baby kittens. Somehow they survived out there. This is all you've known. You staying in here.
they'd be fine.
You staying in here with me. You ain't going out there and getting influenced by them other bad cats. You ain't doing that shit. I don't really like the outside to inside cats. You see it. As soon as I go up to that door, when you drop me off, them motherfuckers are like, oh, fucking finally, this guy's going to feed us. I'm just like, I don't want any of you. But I come in, the dogs are like, fuck yeah, the dude that takes care of us. Well, I like this guy. And that's why they like me so much and they always want to be around me. I can't stand them. But then, like, Lucy gets a bellyache and she hurt her shoulder and I thought she was dying. I'm sitting there, like, petting her. And there's no 24-hour vet service near us. And Lucy was being real lethargic and I thought she was, going to pass away. And I have her sitting there and she was like, my wife was just like, for an animal you don't like that much. I'm like, I'm not going to let her die by herself. Like she obviously likes us and shit like that and looks at us like some fucking family-aided species that she lives with. I'm not going to have her fucking die alone in the living room. So I slept in the living room. She slept on my lap. Next day, I acted like nothing happened. She wasn't even sick. She's the most energetic fat-ass dog you ever seen. And that's the thing too. Like I could be like, hey, I'm not going to beat a dog. I'm not going to beat an animal. I'm not going to harm. I'm going to make sure that animal's fed. It's in my house. I'm going to make sure they're fed, watered. If they walk up and want me to pet them, I'm going to pet them and shit like that. I'm not an evil person, even though I don't want an animal. But they'll be like, oh, you seem to like dogs. Like, no, I don't. And I don't like that we got them. I'm putting my extremely profoundly disabled 7-year-old into a residential facility so I could forget he exists. I am not sorry.
Talking about a dog or are you talking about a kid?
7-year-old. It's a kid. I can't tell anyone this, even my therapist. Lambast me if you want to hear, or if you want, and maybe I even deserve it. I only ask, what would you do if you were in my situation? Not what you think people should do, what you would really do. I am a single mom of 2 boys, 12 and 7. My husband passed away 3 years ago in a work accident. A very large portion of me believes it was suicide. I can't see him ever making the mistake he made that caused his death. And he had even taken an action just before that, which ensured his coworkers weren't in the room. I fully believe he killed himself because of our younger son, and no one will ever change my mind. As we're told when I was pregnant that he would have Down syndrome, we could handle that, even if it was severe. It turned out he has chromosome deletion. His disorder is kind of rare, so I won't post which specific one, but suffice it to say he'll never be anything more than he is now or has ever been. And what is he? Is nothing. He doesn't appear to have any awareness and never has. His eyes are locked into one position and he doesn't respond to noise, touch, or pain. He is total care. He is capable of nothing. He is tube fed and on oxygen. He is in diapers and will be forever. He makes no sounds, no attempts to communicate. He never really even cried as a baby. He has never made an attempt to interact with anyone or his environment. I'm not upset because I got a special needs, in quotations, imperfect child. I feel this way because this thing takes up 200% of my time and does nothing. I didn't get an imperfect child. I didn't get a child. I don't love him. He doesn't have any personality. There is nothing to love. And yet I'm responsible for him. In addition to his extreme delays, he is also medically fragile. Respiratory crisis, fecal impaction, his atomic nervous system doesn't function properly, issues with his G-tube, infections, pressure sores, no matter what we put him on or how we position him. Our older son has suffered because his non-existent brother has colored everything in his life. He has had medical care get delayed because there's only one of me and his brother is more critical. We do have a visiting home nurse, but only 20 hours a week. We aren't eligible for more. I was starting law school. I gave up my dreams and my plans for my children for this potato. My older son can't do a lot of things he wants to do because of his younger's need for care and appointments. The final straw was I heard a sound. I went to younger son's room to check, thinking he had forgotten how to breathe again, only to see older son hitting him and screaming, "You're why I don't have a mother. You're why I don't have a father. You're why I can't have friends over. You're why I can't be in sports. I didn't ask for you, and I hope you die." Instead of being horrified, I watched. And younger son just did not react. No signs of pain, fear, upset, no reaction at all. He breathes, but he is not alive. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who his older son is, or he doesn't know who his older brother is. He has no sense of self, life expectancy, or awareness of his surroundings. He doesn't need to be in my home. He doesn't care where he is. He is genetically my son, but he is not family. My previously abused, brain-damaged cat who can't walk straight has more personality and is far more lovable than my child, in quotation marks. And so as he is leaving our home on the 29th, I feel excited and relieved and then guilty because I know we will be happier with him gone. He's already taken my husband, my son's father. He was working so much overtime to pay for the cucumber's care. For the experimental therapies, insurance wouldn't cover because this one thing was going to be a breakthrough in all capital letters. He was tired and defected and disappointed. He sought counseling as well, but I don't think he could ever say the words, "I don't want my son in my home" either. He's ruined my older son. I was so wrapped up on the younger one, I never realized how much I ignored my younger one and the damage that was done. He lost his father too. I didn't just lose my husband. He is my priority now, and this malignant lump can be someone else's problem. At least they'll be paid a wage to take care of him. At least they'll get a break from him when they punch out. I just never want to think of him again, and I am not sorry, and for that, I am sorry. And you hearing that, if you think that she is in the wrong, you are incorrect.
The only thing that I have is like the amount of like jabs and like that. I get it. Like I understand where she's coming from, but like calling him a potato and a cucumber and like all that stuff.
But he is nothing. Like
no,
he is
I get that. But
he is a human being's flesh.
Yeah, no,
with no soul or consciousness there.
I think those scenarios are where we get too much in thinking we're this special fucking creature.
Yep.
Like he should be medically
gone. And that should have happened as soon as it was sought that there's no quality of life.
Like in the developmental part, if nothing showed up, if like by the age of 4, 5, 6, there's no life,
no cognitive ability, nothing, no awareness, anything like that.
We're gonna get heat for this one.
It doesn't fucking matter because we live in a country. There are people out there that have indoctrinated you to the belief that this child, like, yes, it is in all technical sense of the word, a human being. The only reason we are not like other countries, because other countries will say, hey, they have the medically assisted suicides and stuff like that. The only reason is because our pharmaceutical industry can take advantage of a child like this. They can have a parent pay.
Healthcare system.
Yeah, the whole healthcare system. You pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for somebody that doesn't exist. Yeah. There is no person inside of that person. And I understand she said a lot of bad words, potato and stuff like that. But when you think of a father that's working through because these doctors have promised him this medical breakthrough and he's doing all this overtime because I guarantee you he has been indoctrinated to say, that's my son, I must do everything for him like a father should, even though every other country is going to say, hey, there's nothing we could do for this child. The best thing you could do is let him peacefully die. Because if there's anything that he feels, the only thing will be pain.
Yeah.
Infections.
Well, and there's
like that.
no interaction with the world to tell you pain or anything. And I think the biggest thing, though, is like the fact that if you go back 100 years before all the medical advancements of being able to keep him on a feeding tube, keep him on a respirator, keep him on like all these machines that are doing the work for his body, you take all those away, that individual no longer lives. Like, and it's one thing to use those devices to prolong somebody's life long enough that their body can heal and come off of those things. But if they're never going to come off, if the machines are the only reason that this person, if they were cognizant of anything, then you have then a little bit harder of a discussion. But with this, there's no activity at all, no sounds, no communication, no eye movement. Like, this is literally just cells, living cells that are being kept alive by a bunch of machines. Like, there's no reason.
Like, when I think about my youngest, and I understand that he's probably never going to be in a relationship. He's probably not going to have a career. He'll probably have a job. He's probably not going to have a career. Okay. He's happy. Like, he sees something, and this is like with kids with Down syndrome, man, happy. And they're happy to see stuff, and they're happy to do things. And there's things that's rewarding for them. For someone who is just not there, there's no reward. There's no sense in prolonging a life that doesn't exist. There's no goal. There's nothing positive that comes out of this situation from raising, honestly, and it sucks to say, and I'm sorry, but a flesh suit that is going to, at best, die after 30 years of this existence. And probably you don't know this, probably in a painful way. It's just like, we need to, as a country, like, come together and say, hey, we can understand that, medically assisted suicides are a thing. They are a good thing for terminal people who are dying, who are in pain and shit like that. We are just so caught up in this majestic pedestal we put human beings on that we do not need to be on. We need to look at us the any way we would look at any other animal. If there was an animal that was like this, you'd say, put it down. You would. If there was an animal begging to die in a hospice, begging to die because no medication works on them because their fibromyalgia is so fucking painful that you cannot touch that fucking pain, and they say, please kill me. And you're like, no, because that's immoral. It's not immoral. It's immoral to keep that person alive. That is immoral. It is immoral to subject somebody to pain, whether that be through emotional, something that they can't understand because they are in a vegetative state. We need to get past that as a country, because that is one of the stupidest fucking things. And then you hear of other countries like doing this stuff, and just all these other countries that have that aren't better than us. They just have better quality of life because they can understand things, because they don't look at it through the scope of a book that was written thousands of years ago that we still live by today. There's a reason that other countries are like, hey, we do a separation of church and state, and they prosper way better than we do. Like, they prosper way. Think about, like China, for example. China goes through, like, they have all the medical advancement that we do. And still, they have a whole genre for holistic stuff. Instead of saying, no, this is like quacky, we don't do this because the pharmaceutical industry wants to sell you something, they say, hey, we look into this stuff, okay? Their people live longer than we do. Their infant mortality rates infinitely lower than us. We have one of the worst infant mortality rates of any fucking, not even a first world country, just a country with an established water system, like a fucking treated water system.
Well, and women dying in childbirth.
Right, yes, it's a lot lower. And it's because we are so accustomed to selling somebody something that we say, hey, this is wrong, because instead of, putting this kid down, and it's weird to say that, euthanizing a child that has no sense of purpose, no sense of awareness, no feeling, doesn't understand anything that's going on.
That is the humane thing to do.
Right. That's the humane thing to do. But because we have a system that can sell, that is going to sell you on hundreds of thousands of dollars of promise.
Well, you've got that, and then you also have the religious people that say that this is immoral. Like, so you've got both these fronts, and the one front is paying to elect every single one of these officials that then vote on these things that make it so that none of that stuff really, ultimately, medical should be a not-for-profit business. Like, doctors make a living, nurses make a living, but all this bullshit of insurance companies and then like they make profits, like that's money above what they need to charge you. They make profits, and those profits continuously go up and up and up.
Selling the medication at an infinitely higher cost than it is to make is predatory. It's wrong. The whole system itself is just fucked up. Once again, I hope when she sends him off, her and her son are able to live a good life where they value each other. And I hope she does get past the morality that she was indoctrinated with, probably through religion.
Well, I think she already was past it.
Because I'm sorry, Jesus healed people. I don't think, what if he came across somebody that would have no quality of life? You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear about all these miraculous healings. That doesn't, we're out of the days of people miraculously getting better, of a guy coming around and healing people. Okay. Now it's up to medical professionals. If medical professionals cannot, heal somebody, if they're going through pain, no fucking cognitive abilities, then it is, maybe we do look at the alternative.
So let's go on to a user submission and
lighter subject. Yeah, lighter subject. Look at this. We're supposed to be funny.
So this is from,
I don't think this whole episode, there's been no funniness. Let's talk about dicks. How they're the perfect shape.
This is from Bob. We had a baby eats a boy. That's the
classic commercial.
Well, I put that in as like the example, I think.
Oh.
So they used it.
We had a baby eats a boy. Who was that? It was Bob. They had a baby as a boy.
All right. A title is Not a Story.
Nice.
Hello, Mike and Dylan. I don't have a story, just a question.
Okay.
At least once a week, can we have a 2-hour episode?
Last episode was like, what, an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, we try to extend them. We try to get them to the longer side.
I think last week you were still smoking, so some of them were just right at an hour.
Yeah, now Mike does these nicotine packets. So yeah, is like I said, that one story. I mean, with that one, and then the dude who was addicted to porn. I mean, we went deep into it talking about it, and that's what you get when Mike's not ready to go outside and smoke a cigarette. So,
all right, I'm gonna go ahead and read a story since that was so short. Am I the asshole for suggesting my boyfriend break up with me because I, quote unquote, cheated on him? Are you the asshole for asking your boyfriend to break up with you?
I think you're the asshole for, quote unquote, cheating on him. But I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where she didn't cheat, but he was like, you cheated because that man smiled at you or something. Oh, what? Did I get it? Did I nail it?
Not the smiling part, but... I, 19 female, have been together with my boyfriend, 19 male, for about a year now. When we first met, I was going through a tough breakup with my toxic ex-boyfriend who was super insecure. My ex-boyfriend made me drop all of my friends, and when I finally built the guts up to break up with him, I went through a really bad phase. I talked to many people at once, like just basic flirting back and forth. My current boyfriend was one of those boys. And when me and him started bonding and getting closer, I stopped talking to all those other guys and really focused on him until we started dating, and then I cut them all off entirely. Fast forward, about 5 months into our relationship, he was going through my phone and saw all those old messages with those guys and quickly connected the dots to when we had first met and claimed I had cheated on him. I know everybody has their own view on what is cheating
Experiment.
and what isn't. So you just like to interrupt, don't you?
No, I didn't see you. Look, this is how good of a friend Dylan is. Y'all hear us argue sometimes, and he'll call me like, it's out of everything me and Dylan do as out of love. But I literally just told this motherfucker, I was like, oh, I want one of them Spirit Mint ones because I like to feel the burn. He went and brought it on the, I had forgot that I had asked him. That motherfucker went and brought it on the table because he knew I wanted one.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I fucking love that dude.
All right, so I know everyone has their own view on what is cheating and what isn't, so I didn't really try to argue with him on it. I apologized. I explained I was in a bad spot and I took full responsibility. He said he wasn't sure he could trust me anymore and that I had to earn his trust back. So I told him that I would try, and so he made me drop all my friends, LOL.
So you went from one insecure ex to another one Because you haven't given him any reason to think you're cheating on him. He's just going through your shit. So now you went from it is a thing though, you know what I'm saying, with the trauma that you try to find, you know what I'm saying? You got out of that one traumatic relationship, getting to this one, maybe it was some like low key subtle hints that was like, this one's going to be real insecure too.
Well, and not that you should have to do it, but like, why didn't you just delete those old messages from the old homeboys? Like once you cast them away, like why didn't you just delete them? Not that you have to.
That's like a telltale good trait though, that she didn't delete them. Like that means that she's focused on you and not them. And they're from ages ago when y'all first started talking. Yeah. Maybe he should have saw that and been like, fuck, she likes me.
But who's going that far back in their girl's phone?
That's what I'm saying. So like, he's crazy. Like he's going to cut your skin off and wear it, girl.
But I know when me and my wife started talking, I cut off the girls that I was talking to. And then like, I didn't delete them immediately, like all the conversations, but like within a couple months of dating her, I was just like,
best not to have these.
Delete it. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk to them anymore. So just gone. Not that I was like hiding anything. It was just like, they're not part of my life anymore. So clean it up and get it out. But yeah, for me, not that she has the responsibility to do that, but like 5 months into the relationship, you haven't went through any of your old stuff and just like, oh, not talking to that person, not talking to that person, not talking to
So my thing is when me and my wife got together, it was always a thing of mine where I would delete conversations with anybody because when I looked in my like messenger or something like that, I didn't want any conversations there if there was no conversations going on. Same thing within my phone. And then she was like, it's really weird that you delete the conversation. She's like, I could tell it's not like that. Because you just deleted the conversation. I was sitting next to her, we were like cuddled together and I deleted it. It was me and my brother. She was just like, it's just weird that you do that. I was like, I just don't like all the clutter. I don't like all the clutter there. But I eventually got over that. So
yeah. That's why I have 1,000 some messages in my email. I try to clean it up. I think I got it down to like less than 100 at one point. Now
that's why I don't like looking at my fucking emails either though, because there's just like 1,000 there and I just feel overwhelmed. I don't like to get off. Probably some kind of OCD thing going on with the tisms,
All right, so since then, there have been a bunch of times where he brings up the fact I talked to all those guys in the past in any argument. Recently, he brought it up in a conversation we had where I was upset with him because he always had magically forgotten any boundary I'd set in our relationship, always blaming it on his bad memory. I told him that it feels like he never thinks about me when he does things. He countered it by saying, I didn't think about him when I talked to all those men. I ended up telling him that if he really is so affected by what I did a year ago before we even started dating, then he can leave. That he never should have even bothered staying with me in the first place if he just planned to use that factor against me in any disagreement.
I bet he cried when she said that.
He immediately started to cry and state that I must have never loved him if I want him to leave this badly.
Did that really say that? I am fucking Nostradamus. I got to use my powers for good. I predict. Look, I'm going to do some Nostradamus shit right here because he was a pseudo fucking. If you say, hey, this is going to happen in the future and it's so vague, then people will be like, yeah, it's going to happen. So I predict that a very large entity will strike a smaller entity and cease it from existence. And people will be like, whoa, he just guessed that America would bomb Iran. Oh my God, he's so fucking crazy. He's got the... I hate people that's like that. I see it on TikTok all the time. She'll be like, I'm a robbery that will go awry and the person who was robbing the place will die. I'm like every robbery that goes awry that has a shootout with a cop, like happens every day.
All right, so of course I caved and reassured him and apologized. I'm still with him and I really do love him. I want a future with him, but it's been a year and he still says he can't trust me and still brings that whole situation up and anything he can just to shut me up. Did I cheat on him? Am I the asshole for telling him to break up with me? No, you're not the asshole. You should have broke up with him immediately.
He's giving you all the things that says, hey, break up with me.
So a couple relevant comments. Grinch Who Stole Ass says... I liked the username, but Get tricked into dropping all your friends and entering an emotionally manipulative and abusive relationship once. Shame on him. Get tricked into dropping all your friends and entering into an emotionally manipulative and abusive relationship twice. Well, come on, girl. You know where this is going.
Right, yeah. Right back in it. Right when I get out, they pull me back in.
And then Prestigious Tree says, you're the asshole to yourself if you stay with this guy.
Right.
It's just so wild because, like, at some point he's got to let it, or no, he doesn't. But, like, after the first couple weeks of him being butthurt about it, the fact that he keeps bringing it up, like, you are allowing him to basically do what you said your ex did to you. He was a toxic boyfriend that made you drop all your friends and delete everybody from your life for something that happened before you guys were actually together. Like,
right.
if you guys were fucking and you were fucking somebody else at the time and you weren't dating, like, he could have something to stand on. Like, oh, I thought we were intimate, so I assumed we were exclusive. Well, you're still not wrong, but at least he'd have something. But you guys are just talking, and you were just talking to other guys. You said you were flirting and, you know, showing interest. There was no sex going on. So even if she was talking to another guy while she was talking to you, when you guys got together, she dropped them all. Good chick.
Right, yeah.
Like, solid chick. And you're going to fuck it all up because you're too weak to say that, oh my God, she liked another boy while she liked me. Well, she picked you, you fuck.
That's
like,
crazy to think that before you got with your girl, there were so many people trying to sleep with her. And that she was trying to find a relationship. That's a wild thing to think. If that plagues your relationship, that's something wrong with you, bud.
Yeah.
That's it. That's something wrong with you.
You're sad and tore up about it. Like, you won. You won the game. Like, she's not talking to anybody now. She wasn't talking to anybody once you guys started dating. So there's nothing that happened that she should feel bad about.
Right.
Like, you can be butthurt about it initially. Be like, oh, I didn't know you were talking to, 3 other guys at the time. Okay. Get the fuck over it. You're with her now.
You won. Like,
yeah.
If you look at it in the simplest of fucking male brain fucking knuckle dragging, me man. There were 4 guys hitting on her, and you're the one she went with. So congratulations. But to then look at that and be like, you were cheating. That's just weak mental shit.
He probably is like, you're not pure anymore.
Yeah, your daddy was weak when he raised you. Am I 24 male overreacting, or is this enough reason to break up with my 27 female girlfriend? Guess the subreddit. Because that's why I picked this one out.
Am I overreacting?
Nope. r/fantasy football. Which made me think this was a fantasy football. Player discussion. First time asking for relationship advice online, so bear with me. I've been with my girlfriend for about 5 years. We both still live at home with parents while going to college. Over 5 years, we have had very happy moments, but also some bad moments. One thing about her is that's always driven me nuts is she is always late to everything. I mean, like a daily thing. If we plan to see friends at 3 p.m., she won't be ready till 6 p.m.
3 to 6?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That's a wild amount of late.
And people like to be like, oh, I'm always late. Well, that's a bad person trait. That's got to get on your shit. And if you're always late, then you need to fix something about you. Because if you make a promise to be somewhere on time.
You see, I got this issue and it absolves me from all responsibility.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not neurotypical like everybody else. So. My parents obviously used that as a crutch when they raised me, so they didn't have to teach me any fucking values or anything like that. So I can be a shit person. No, that's just a shit trait. And if you fix that, then you're not a shit person. But if you crutch on that, you're a shit person. It also extends to doing things on time. For example, this is the 3rd year in a row she did not give me a gift for my birthday. I mean, she doesn't care about you, bud. Saying she has it ready, but she'll give it to me later. Well, it's been about 2 months since. Another example is this past Saturday, we were supposed to dress up for Halloween and meet friends for a night out at 5 p.m., yet she wasn't ready till 9 p.m., at which all my friends were gone. I realize some people just make a habit of being late, but it's been 5 years, and I'm not joking when I say this happens every other time we see each other. The worst part for me is that she will have a random excuse and won't admit fault by being late. She'll blame traffic, her parents, got into an important phone call, etc. This has really gotten on my nerves, and we've argued about this several times before. Before I met her, I was all sorts of a perfectionist and would usually be on time to mostly everything. But ever since I met her, I've become more and more like her. It's gotten to the point where I don't even want to make plans with her because I just get lazy at the thought of her. She is a very caring, nice girl, and I do love her, She's not caring.
No.
Yeah, what? She misses your birthdays and then she's late to everything. The thing she is not caring.
How long does it take to prepare a blowjob, though? Like, I mean, 2 months is a bit extreme.
Right, that's crazy. That's crazy to... Were you moistening your cheeks? What's happening? Like, it's taking you 2 months to do all that. What a guy wants. What a guy needs. It's not hard to pick out a gift for us.
We're simple creatures.
You guys are fucking rough. I think the worst gift I ever gave my wife was... And I did have reserves giving it to her, okay? I was like, maybe this is not, but it was like a cooking set, a pot thing. And she was like, I really want that. And I was like, oh, I get that for her as a gift. And I gave it to her, and she was like, well, it kind of sucks you got me a cooking thing as a gift. And I'm like, oh, that does. I see how that does.
I don't. I don't understand that about, like, presents and stuff. It's like one of those things that, like, this does make what you do a lot easier, and you want something. And so I get that you could look at it as like, oh, well, this is just my responsibility. And but like, if you got a fucking, I get like the vacuum cleaner or, a new dishwasher or something like that isn't, but like cooking is one of the things she obviously enjoys it enough that she's good at it, that a cooking set, like a new set of knives or like new
It was this
utensils and
pot.
stuff.
It had this redheaded white lady on it. Apparently, it was a very sought after thing. And I went to Walmart and fought a bunch of white bitches on Black Friday to get it.
See?
Yeah, like a bunch of white women as far as the eye could see.
That's a thoughtful gift.
It looked like a woman crusade. I swear to God, it did. I thought I was
trampoline going on.
I thought I was cooking with this gift. It was not cooking. I was not cooking. I see how it is too. Like, and she is also of the mindset she would rather, to my detriment, because it fucks me up on getting her gifts, make something like sentimental. I'm not that guy. Okay, I try. I'm not that guy. It always revolves into fridge magnets. But she'll then be like, "Oh, these are the fucking best. I love these so much. Look how cute they are." And then she'll like show people, and I'm like, "It's always fridge magnets." I'm not like the last birthday, or it was for the anniversary. I was like, I got to make her something. I was telling Dylan, I was like, I got to make her something. I was like trying to think of something like a Lazy Susan or whatever. And then I just like spent the day with her and rubbed her. And when we went out to eat together, she was like, this is the best one ever. And I was like, sure, yeah.
Well, see, I'm a big not birthday celebration guy. So I
don't want to celebrate shit.
Wife is like, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? And I'm like,
I'd rather save the money.
Nothing. Yeah. Not a thing.
Well, save the money, please.
And she's like, oh, well, we could go do this. And I'm like, I'm good.
No, we ain't got to do that. But I see, because I did let that kind of seep into my point of view on, and then, like I said, I was missing the anniversaries and stuff like that. And she's like, hey, I really value these things. So I'm like, okay, yeah, in a relationship, I have to see that, even though I don't value it and I think it's nonsensical. You know what I'm saying? Because my reward on my anniversary is that I get to spend another year with you. Like, that's my thing. Right. Yes, that's my thing, is that this has been.
You always forget our
I love this. You know what I'm saying? But her, she does like the sentimental stuff and stuff like that.
I like that too.
So I think this year.
You always forget our anniversary.
I do. I always fucking forget. I'm like, what, we've been together for like 2-3 years, something like that. But I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to do something different. And on non-holidays, I'm going to start making stuff just whenever I have a wild hair up my ass, and then giving it to her on off holidays. And so just so she could be like, well, what has happened? Am I dying?
So
Are you dying? Yeah. On 3 separate occasions, I've been really close to breaking up with her over this, but she has made false promises to change this behavior. Am I overreacting, or is this a legitimate reason to break up? Yeah, you've had the conversation. You don't like this. It's a terrible character flaw. If I was showing up every day late to work.
Well, it's crazy. Like, I would say if she's like 10, 15 minutes late, that's annoying. It's annoying. 100%. Like, you should work on that and start adding in more time. But when you're talking about fucking your friends are meeting up at 5:00 and she's not ready till 9, like, no, that's just being a shit stain. And my thing is like, if you're not with her during that time, so like you're already at the event and she's not there, she's fucking somebody else. Like, something else is going on. Like, there's something going on in her life that she's skipping hours.
If not cheating on you, she values time with somebody else infinitely more than she does value time with you. So If it's not cheating, then
It doesn't matter if it's a phone call, doesn't matter. Like, but there is something going on. If it's hours, like if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes, that's annoying. Hours, that is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That is one time, I guarantee you, one time of if me and my wife were dating and she left me hanging for 4 hours, deuces. Like we're not doing this anymore because obviously you do not value me. You do not care about my time. Like I'm here waiting for you to show up. And like,
well, she's like, hey, I had to do this thing. Okay.
An emergency.
Right.
But if that's a frequent occurrence.
Yeah. Deuces. Once it happens more than one time, I'm just like, okay, I see my place in this relationship is not where it needs to be. So edit, and I try to cut out the edits, but this is funny as shit. Obviously posted in the wrong sub, but actually got some good feedback in here. Just to clarify, she's not always 3 to 4 hours late. It's more like 1 to 2. That's horrible. Also, she is also late to class pretty often, but she is actually on time for work mostly. And then edit 3, there was another edit, but I left it out. This is edit 2, but edit 3 was like, wow, I can't believe this is the biggest the biggest post in our fantasy football. Out of all fantasy football on the sub, this one became the biggest post of all time on there. Oh, maybe it is this one. Left for a few hours and came back to see this is the top post ever on our fantasy football. Yep. Just bros coming out and being like, hey, man, you deserve better.
Yeah.
Seriously, holy crap, never thought such a simple mistake would get this amount of upvotes. Thanks to everyone who contributed and for the goal to have more than enough feedback now to know what to do. Also, thanks for our fantasy football community. Although I didn't mean to post it here, I can see the bond the sub gives us. I'm also very sorry. Such a ridiculous post that has nothing to do with FF has made it to the top. I know a lot of you were disappointed thinking I dropped some sort of clever shit post, but I'm really just the dude who was looking for relationship advice. I clearly found it. The top relevant comments were all like, I thought that y'all were breaking up over fantasy football.
Because my girl threatened that.
Right, yeah. She threatened it. She said, hey, you're gambling your life away, which is a valid reason to leave somebody, by the way. All the fucking sports apps are is, hey, young adults, how would you like to gamble on your phone, the thing you have access to 24/7? At least at a casino, you have to go out of your way, but this is gambling on your phone.
Well, and the wild thing is now it's not just sports. You can gamble. Like, did you see that?
What is Mr. Beast going to do in a video or whatever?
No, there was one on whether we were going to like have war with Iran.
And somebody close to, all that fucking.
They fucking cleaned up. Like,
that's insider
millions
trading.
of dollars. Yes.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't count if they're close. If they know somebody, then it's not. Yeah. Politicians can insider trade all day. Martha Stewart, throw her in fucking prison.
Yeah.
You throw that bitch in prison. They can do that. Yeah. Someone close to Mr. Beast did one on if Mr. Beast was going to do something. So now they got all this shit on the phones. Guys, have a conversation with your young adults coming into adulthood. Be like, hey, your friends are doing it. Your friends are going to be poor. Your friends are going to be the kind of poor where you start thinking maybe life is not for you. So just have that conversation with your kids. Guys, if you're doing it, take a step back and say, hey, I understand I'm having fun doing this shit. Maybe save your money up, go to a casino somewhere, because then at least you get to have a couple drinks, look at some titties while you're doing it. Stop gambling on your phone, okay? There's a reason why. Trust me, if there is something that has always been viewed as detrimental, such as like gambling, detrimental to people, and for some reason it gets legalized, that means a lot of people are making money off of you, and the amount of money that people are making does not equal the amount of money they are making. So understand, maybe take a step back, talk to somebody. We're here for you. Understand this. Mike and Dylan will never do a gambling ad. You've already heard this before.
On all of our platforms, we turn off gambling and alcohol.
Yep. I will never say, hey, go gamble. I will never say, hey, drink alcohol. I will never look down on you for doing that stuff. Y'all know Mikey's an addict. He done his stuff back in the day. I'll tell you all those things are wrong, okay? I will also say, hey, there will never be an ad that says cocaine. Wow, you and your friends just coking it up. You can download cocaine on your phone and just do it whenever you want to. That's why I'm a little bit more harsher when it comes towards alcohol and gambling, because for some reason, those are the only, big addictions where you can just fucking, it's fun, young people.
Well, if they made cocaine legal, it would have.
Oh, yeah. If the government can make money off of it. If some
Well, if the lobbyists.
Yeah,
the
yeah, if
people
you could
that- There
do-
could be an industry. Like, that's why every single ad that I see on Game of Thrones, because I pay for the broke person HBO.
And that's the only way to do
single
it. Pay for the broke people.
is pharmaceutical.
Holy fuck. Are you getting the ones where there's
pharmaceutical.
no dancing people? It's just an ad. They have text there. And it's always the crazy, like this shit was made from human blood, so you can get AIDS from it. Or you can, bro, me and my son love these ads. We make fun of them 24/7. It's just a text-based ad. It has a red line. They all have a red line, and then the text is underneath it. And one of our favorite ones is like, this medication can cause a fatal infection of the testicles or anus. So if you have pain in your testicles or anus, seek medical help, medical treatment right away, because the infection is fatal. And we're just like, dog, you trying to get a, now I forgot what it is. It's like for like plaque psoriasis or some shit like that.
There's so many of those.
It's just crazy, man. It's crazy too how other countries have gotten all these eczema, plaque psoriasis, all this shit taken care of. And we're just like, here's 50 different kinds of medicine. All of them has these crazy, horrendous side effects. Once again, other countries who also look into the holistic side because they don't care if they make money off of these treatments or not. They don't deal with as many fucking problems as Americans do.
I love the fact when it's like, do you have ingrown toenails? Like, and I'm just using that as an example, like something
Innocuous. Yeah.
not really a big deal. And then they're like, side effects could be liver failure and blah, blah, blah. And then it's just
kidney
like,
disease. Your
so
kidneys explode. Your
you
anus
can
explodes.
die so that you can, and especially with like the psoriasis, like I know I've got dry skin. I don't know what it is. Once again, guys, don't go to the doctor. I should, but every winter goes haywire. Spring and summer come back around and I'm fine. So, but like I have it happen every time and I'm just like, oh, I wonder if one of these things, but then I'm just thinking like, I'd rather deal with the fucking itchy, crazy, like not attractive looking skin condition than do something that is going to be like actually detrimental to my health.
That's why I drink cucumber water though too, is because it's really good for your skin. And during the wintertime, I get really bad. Like you'll see it you can see it on the bridge of my nose underneath. Like I'll get really bad, like dry skin and shit like that. And then they're like, oh, well, cucumber's really good for skin. So I was drinking the cucumber water and then I was like, man, it's just really good because it flavors my water a little bit. So that's what I always drink. I would much rather have that be a placebo thing and not be real and not help out my skin than take a medication that then sends me into liver failure because I was like, man, I don't like the bridge of my nose being red so much.
Yeah.
You know, this ingrown toenail I got's kind of weird. I kid you not. Okay. When something had happened at work and then I had a stack of boards on my head and I stepped off the thing and then all of a sudden my whole body, my arms just went down. I couldn't feel my arms and my whole back felt hot and tingly. And I was like, oh my God. My supervisor saw it and he was a chat about it because he was like, yeah, we're just going to make sure you're okay. So he actually was the one that said, hey, we're going to go get checked out. So he was like a super chat about it. I actually cared about because he was like, I ain't never seen anybody's body do that. Let's make sure you're not being fucked up for the rest of your life. While I was there, the doctor saw my toenail and he was just like, I'm going to prescribe you a fungal cream for that, bud. And I was like, oh shit, hell yeah. Look, this happened, but I'm getting my toe cured right now. This is awesome. Kind of a 2-lane deal. The medicine he gave me said pretty much it'll shut down your immune system. Okay. So you're susceptible to viral and bacterial infections 10 times greater than like humans are normally. And I was like, I'll deal with the funky toe, dog. I don't want to die. And this was during COVID too. I was like, I don't want to die of COVID. Bro, prescribe that to me. Fucking shuts down your immune system. You are way more susceptible to fucking viruses and shit like that. During a time where people are just getting pew, 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 left and right from viruses, I was like, nah.
That was a hoax and he knew it.
Now I'll deal with my funky toe. We had a couple of people die at work from the hoax. So that was crazy. That was crazy when they died from the hoax. Like they bought in that much that they died from it.
All the people that I saw die from it were people that were like, it's a hoax.
All my years of working in factories, I ain't ever seen anybody die from the flu. Really, we didn't have people die unless it was like a car accident.
Or old.
Yeah, and then this COVID thing came around and we had like, 100 people working in the factory and 2 of them died from it. I was like, ooh, this might be something. And then people were like, well, you die at such a lower rate. I'm like, yeah, but people die from it. So, and it's also infecting a lot of people. So,
yeah, I think it did get overhyped.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
the way that we dealt with it was mishandled, but also it was like one of those things where it's a new thing. Because I remember, swine flu coming through and bird flu and all that stuff. And
well, bird flu was never, but bird flu, you die. Like, bird flu is horrendous.
Took it like as seriously as COVID was treated. But yeah, with what you were saying earlier, though, like I had some sort of, I think it was athlete's foot or something like that. And rather than, I went the holistic route and used like apple cider vinegar and stuff like that.
That's what I eventually did for it to cure it, because the apple cider vinegar didn't say that I was going to die from anything.
Yeah.
So,
but like those are the things that really doctors should be like, hey, try this very, 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 very innocuous thing.
But they can't, because the FDA, who gets lobbied, that's crazy. They get lobbied. They can be lobbied. The FDA goes, no, you should probably try out a fungal medication that can kill you.
Yeah. And that's the wild thing with what we have here is like, you can't try you can't just fix things with diet and exercise, when diet and exercise are really the key factors. Like you solve the problem and then the symptoms go away. But if you're just treating the symptoms, you're always going like, oh, no, go get that McDonald's cheeseburger and, eat some Taco Bell and Wendy's fries. None of that's the problem. Don't worry about the Slim Jim you buy from the gas station every day. All that stuff's fine. You just need to take this pill that's going to,
in countries where, once again, they are more healthy than we are, they'll be like, hey, dip your foot in some apple cider vinegar. And it's like, wow, really? Because that doesn't, it's like, oh, we don't want to make money here. We're not trying to, we
want you to feel better.
This doesn't funnel up to one guy. This, we don't care about shareholders or nothing like that. This is just, we want your athlete's foot to go away. Yeah.
All right. So off the Mike and Dylan hate drama, we're on to, am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? Teacher said my daughter's report is immoral.
Okay.
So my 9-year-old daughter has an assignment every year where they embody a historical figure of significance. She looks forward to this every year, and she really gets into picking her figure out and learning about them.
How could anything a 9-year-old does is immoral? I would say more,
Satan.
If anything, uneducated.
They're supposed to pick 3 people, then the teacher chooses which of the 3 they can do. This year, my daughter chose Freddie Mercury, Prince, and Anne of Cleves. 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 Anne of
Is
Cleves.
that K-Town Anne?
I don't know.
That's K-Town.
Is it?
Yeah. Because we couldn't say it. Kiev?
No, this is Cleves.
Oh, wait, no, that was Olga.
Yeah.
Olga. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry.
Today, the teacher messaged me saying that Freddie Mercury and Prince aren't acceptable because they weren't moral people, quote unquote. And Anne of Cleves isn't acceptable because she didn't make enough of an impact on the world. For reference, last year my daughter was Frida Kahlo, and the year before she was Josephine Baker. I prepared a big long response about how morality is subjective. Every human is complex and not wholly moral or immoral. My family doesn't believe in judging other people's morality, and that choosing a, quote, moral person wasn't even a condition as part of the assignment. But then my husband came home and found me seething, and he thinks I'm overreacting, and this isn't a fight worth fighting.
Wasn't Freddie Mercury openly gay, though? Especially towards the latter part, which stood a lot to, like,
bring awareness to...
Right. You had a lot of people going, well, if Freddie Mercury, a guy who can get any woman he wants, has sex with men, maybe it's not a choice.
The funniest thing is, like, they use that so much for sports, and sports is definitely a big, like, homophobic area. And
absolutely,
they're just like, this is going to be our anthems. Like, we will rock you, and we are the champions. Like, all this is going to be blasted over.
But if you're gay, you're going to be accosted in the locker room.
Yeah.
And the league will turn its head to that.
All right. So am I overreacting, or should I stand my ground? There's an update, but do you think she's overreacting?
No,
you stand up for your kid to make, like, those are the perfect times to show up as a parent and say, you do you, homie.
That's when a motherfucker thinks, oh, this person got my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if your kid's being a shit, how you interact with the administration is one thing, but your kid is doing exactly what they want to do, which falls in the guidelines. There's nothing that says you can't pick a gay person or whatever. And Prince wasn't gay, right?
No.
So, like,
I don't know enough about Prince to really comment on.
Well, yeah,
Prince.
I don't know either. But but they were just saying moral people. Like, what did Prince do that was immoral?
Well, so this is not even, I guess they're saying, how did they, like, what was their impact on humanity that made us better people?
Music.
Right.
It's fucking fantastic.
Right.
Impact. All right. So update info. It is a private school, but it's not religious. This teacher is brand new and just started after Thanksgiving. We live in northern Nevada. Am I going to get in trouble? Is it Nevada or Nevada?
I say Nevada. I think it's like getting a receipt from a gas station. I just changed my answer based on how I feel that day.
All right. It's a school-wide assignment, so the teacher didn't make it up. Every class does it every year. It's like a tradition. They switch it up for the grades. Like kindergarten draws a picture of their person, while 8th grade does a several-page report.
8th graders like, fuck, this sucks. Because kindergartners.
Can I draw the picture?
Yeah, can I just draw a picture? The pictures would probably be better too.
All right, so update. I'm not sure why the post got locked, but thanks everyone for your support and input. There is a resolution, but it's pretty anticlimactic. I emailed the teacher back. Here's what I said. I'm sorry, but the assignment was a historical figure of significance. Morality is subjective, and if you think Anne of Cleves didn't make a big enough contribution to history, maybe hearing a report about her is just what you need. I'd like to ask you to reconsider and choose from the list blank provided. She thought about each figure long and hard, and she's very excited to share about them with her classmates. I also emailed the principal with my concerns. Here's that email. Hi, Mrs. Blank.
So I'm looking up Anne of Cleve.
Today, Mrs. Blank messaged me that she didn't approve of any of Blank's choices for Chautauqua for reasons that I feel are inappropriate. She said that Freddie Mercury and Prince were both not moral people. I find this problematic for several reasons. It's not a teacher's responsibility to judge or encourage a student to judge a person's morality. I try hard to teach my children not to pass judgment onto people, so it bothers me that her teacher is encouraging her to do just that. A person's vices aren't something that would be in a third grader's assignment to begin with. She specifically told Blank that both of them are rock stars who used drugs and had loose morals, which is actually not even true. Prince was vehemently against drug and alcohol use and was very religious. But regardless, it's wildly inappropriate to assume Blank's report would include a section about how Freddie Mercury liked to party and his drug of choice. Please. The objective of this assignment is to showcase people of influence, not morality. With Blank's last choice, Anne of Cleves, she told Blank that she wasn't well enough known.
Henry VIII's wife.
I would argue that's a perfect reason why Blank should do a report on her to highlight her influence. I really wish she would have just made up fake names. I messaged her back and asked her to reconsider because Blank was pretty disappointed when she came home, but beyond making her unhappy, I still thought I should tell you my concerns. Thank you, Blank. So the big finale, the teacher messaged me back with this. I have talked with the administration about Chautauqua. We have decided, I don't know what that is about Chautauqua because she didn't include any names. That's the county that I was from in New York.
What?
Chautauqua.
Chautauqua County?
Mm-hmm.
Chautauqua County.
Can you guess how to spell it?
Does it start with Chat?
CHAUTAUQUA. It's like one of the only like hard words that I was like, this is easy to spell because it's just AUAUUA.
I would have just not been writing that down.
It was actually really easy once you get it in your head. I still can't spell Michael, but
spell it.
I mean, I can't.
Can you do it?
MICHAEL.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know why, but in my brain it was EAL, and it's like trying to.
I ain't never met one of them Michaels.
Rewrite.
I ain't never met one of them fake Michaels. EAL, that's a fake Michael.
But I've never had to, like, it's not my name. And when I first wrote it, it's kind of, you just write it and then it's locked in your brain forever. Right. So I don't like the English language. It's hard. We have decided students may choose any of their choices. Please let me know which character you have decided on as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm glad this is the resolution because I'm not usually one to rock the boat. Oh, and I also had a talk with my daughter about how sometimes teachers can be wrong and that it's okay to question the rules if we don't agree with them. We also talked about what loose morals, quote unquote, means. That people who have different beliefs are not bad or good. That drug use doesn't shape a person's entire character and that she did nothing wrong. We also discussed possibly choosing a different person just in case. Well, I think he kind of made it weak at the end there.
Right, yeah.
No picking somebody
Stand on
new.
business.
Yeah.
All right, so our next story is a 2D JB submission.
No, that's the dinner mint.
Is that the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So our next story is boyfriend. Oh, this is a brother of the year right here. Boyfriend, 18 male, is upset that my 18 female brother, 26 male, didn't let him spend the night with me when I was very drunk and passed out.
Read that one again. That's a long title. But
Boyfriend is upset that my brother didn't let him spend the night with me when I was very drunk and passed out.
Oh, no, that's a solid brother.
Fuck yeah, it was. I just turned 18 and can now legally drink where we live, so my brother invited me, my new boyfriend, and a few friends and cousins over to hang out and get drunk. I drank way more than I should have. People left one by one, and I was only there with my brother and my boyfriend. I don't remember much except for I woke up in a spare bedroom in the morning and my boyfriend wasn't there. Apparently, I passed out on the couch. Brother took me to the bedroom to sleep. Boyfriend wanted to spend the night there, but my brother said no. My brother says he didn't let him stay because he doesn't know him and didn't know if we've been intimate, and I was completely incapacitated and couldn't consent to sex or anything intimate, so he felt safer not to allow him to spend the night there with me. Boyfriend insisted that he didn't want to have sex, just cuddling. He got confrontational with my brother and accused him of being controlling and said he had no right to choose to decide if I could spend the night with me or not, which my brother told him, I can decide you're not going to spend another minute in my house. Boyfriend said he'll leave, but he'll take me with him. Brother stood in his way and told him to either leave or deal with the police. Boyfriend left. So here we are. Brother thinks I'm dating a complete idiot and asshole, and my boyfriend thinks I have an asshole controlling brother, and I've spent the last 2 days regretting drinking that much. My own feeling is that it would have been okay if my boyfriend spent the night with me in bed, but absolutely not okay to have sex. We haven't had sex yet, dating for less than a month. I understand my brother acted in a protective way. I was drunk, and letting a guy who is interested in me sexually spend the night with me is just an unnecessary risk. I also understand my boyfriend's disappointment, but he should have respected my brother in his own house. Here's the part where it's just like, look, I can handle a drunk boyfriend being like, I don't want to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, when you drink, or like, I mean, the fact that when you get lucky most of the times is because your wife's been drinking. Like, she is like blackout, incapacitated drunk. So if he'd been drinking alongside her, the things that could happen, whether she was coherent enough to consent or anything, like that could have happened that night. And the brother was 100%. Had you guys, like, had he known you guys been dating for a while and he knew you guys were hooking up and everything, but still, he's your brother and he's gonna like, it's his house. He's not gonna just let a fuck fest happen in his fucking room because you guys went out drinking with him. So 100% the brother is like solid as of now.
So now my boyfriend has demanded an apology. He's had time to sober up. If he was just like, I don't want to leave, you know what I'm saying? This is my girl. I don't really like being drunk. That's forgivable. But then to sober up and to be like, I want your brother to apologize. He had different things in mind. An apology from my brother for being mistrusted and for interfering in his relationship. And my brother had banned him from future events and parties at his place for being an asshole. My boyfriend would also like to demand an apology on my own behalf for my brother for him acting the way he did by assuming he can decide who I can or cannot spend the night with.
In his house, he has every
In his
right.
house, yeah. I'm in this mess and I need to make this disappear if I am to have some peace and to make everything normal again with my relationship and family. What do I say to my boyfriend? I think he needs to drop this and move on, and over time, show my family that his behavior on that night wasn't who he really is and earn their trust.
Yeah, no, you should just drop him.
Yeah, absolutely. Update. Based on the advice of you guys, my parents, and my brother, I broke up with my boyfriend.
Yes.
So I asked my boyfriend what he expected to happen that night if he was allowed to spend the night with me. He repeatedly said nothing, but let it slip that maybe he hoped we'd have sex in the morning.
No, you were going to.
He was trying to rape you. Yeah, he was trying to rape you. Because that's what it is. I'm sorry, guys. It doesn't matter if that's your girlfriend. If y'all have never had, if your wife, if your girlfriend can't say, ooh, let's have sex cognitively.
With like all the words said clearly, not, we should have sex right now.
Yeah, no, that's rape. I'm sorry. If you're hearing that and you're like, oh my God, don't do it.
Well, and it's one thing, like if two drunk people make the mistake together, but he was coherent. Like he was not blackout drunk. You were literally passed out.
She was passed out, yeah.
So you're not on equal footing where it's like, oopsie, we made a mistake. No, he had a motive and an agenda that he was trying to execute on while you were completely incapacitated.
Right. So you guys were right. He wanted to have sex with me that night, and he probably would have if he was allowed to spend the night with me. Even though the thought of it gives me a lot of stress, I always knew rape is a danger of a lot of women and men face, but never felt it so close to me. Maybe because I've always been with people I trust. Good thing you were with someone you trust that night. I didn't know. I never thought it could happen so easily to me. It would have happened to me if that night if my brother hadn't protected me the way he did. I'm going to be a lot more careful about my own safety from now on. I won't be as trusting to strangers, and I'm now learning my drinking limits so that I won't overdo it again, especially where I might be vulnerable. My brother also told me never to accept drink from the people I don't 100% trust. Thanks, Reddit. Solid brother.
Yeah, that brother.
That brother, top of the line. That's one of them premium brothers. That's one of the ones that really fuck up your life when they die. That's a solid brother.
Yeah.
That's one of those where he dies, a whole movie starts. That's the start of a whole movie.
Big Hero 6.
Right, yeah, right there. Yep, Big Hero 6 started when just a solid ass brother dies.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is like drunk people make stupid decisions, but that guy was being a predator in that moment. Like he knew that was his opportunity where your guard is down, and he was going to, like, if you guys had sex before that and you guys were both at somewhat of an equal drunkenness, but like the cards were stacked so much more in his favor that he was going to get something that you weren't necessarily ready to give. And yeah, 100%. That's amazing that you had your brother. Like, because had you been with friends, your friends wouldn't have protected you the same way.
Friends will not protect you. I mean, you have some upstanding friends that would protect you like that, but 9 times out of 10, it's okay. She's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just go cuddle because I'm going to go cuddle with my boyfriend, so I don't want y'all interrupting. Solid fucking brother.
All right. This one's going to make Mike mad. Am I the jerk for refusing to cover my friend's small mistake after I said no in advance?
Nah, but you a bitch for not saying am I the asshole. That's it.
I, 30 female, have a friend.
Frickin' frack. That's what I imagine they did. Frickin' frack.
I, 30 female, have a friend, Mia, 29 female, who is fun but always a little chaotic with money. She asked me a few weeks ago if she could borrow my car for a day to run errands because hers was in the shop. I said yes, but I was very clear about one thing. Note, there's a list, so it's not really one thing. But no drive-thrus, no valet, no leaving it in sketchy lots, and absolutely no lending it to anyone else.
Where the fuck you think your friend going where there's going to be valet?
I mean,
what kind of friendship do we
ballers.
got here? Yeah, we got some ballers right now. No valet. How important? Like, how often do y'all run across that where you got to specifically say no valet?
Well, we got a valet out here. It's just I drive my own car, so
you drive me around. So yeah,
I can park other cars.
I have a driver. Yeah.
All right, it's not a fancy car. I just baby it because I paid it off and I can't afford surprise repairs. She rolled her eyes and said I was being dramatic, but agreed. You can no longer buy my car.
Yeah.
Or
Nope.
borrow my car.
Nope. It's now we're done. Yeah, we're done here.
The day comes, she picks it up, all normal. That evening, she brings it back, and at first, everything seems fine until I notice a fresh scrape on the passenger side and the mirror is scuffed. Not huge, but very obvious if you care about your car, even a little. I ask what happened, and she immediately goes into this story about a tight parking spot, quote unquote, and some, quote, idiot who parked too close. Then she says she doesn't know when it happened because she was in and out of places all day. I ask for specifics, and the story changes. Like now she, quote, thinks it was at a grocery store. Then maybe it was at a restaurant. Then she starts saying it could have been someone else. I finally asked her straight up if she let someone drive my car, and she gets quiet and says she let her boyfriend move it, quote, just for a second, because she was carrying bags. I reminded her I literally said not to do that, and she says I'm fixating on the wrong part. She offered to, quote, buff it out herself, and I said no. I want it looked at by a shop, and I want her to pay for it because it happened on her watch, and she broke the one rule I set. Your rule was 4 things, chick. Like the 4 things that you said she couldn't do.
Right.
She got defensive and said it's an older car and stuff like this happens and that I shouldn't be mad at the random parking lot. I should be mad at the random parking lot, not at her. Then she hit me with the, quote, if you cared this much, you shouldn't have let me borrow it, unquote. Which honestly
sounds like you need a new friend.
Which honestly made my head feel hot. Now she's telling our mutual friends I'm trying to make her go broke over a minor scratch, and one friend said I should just take the L because it's not worth losing a friendship. No,
it is. Yeah, that's a shit friend.
I'm not asking her for some insane amount. I just want the repair handled properly and for her to take responsibility instead of acting like I'm unreasonable for having boundaries. Yeah, if I borrow somebody's car and I fuck it up, like I know for a fact I'm going to make that right because
Right.
I value that friendship. Like I'm not going to fuck up and even if I
Everybody's
don't like
the
the
asshole,
person
though. Because you said, am I a jerk? Instead of, am I the asshole?
Well, and you got the warning right there when she rolled her eyes. You say, sorry. Like,
Ooh, yeah,
you're
yeah.
not taking this seriously.
Yeah, let me just, give me keep back. Thank you.
Yeah.
You ain't borrowing this. All right, so we're 2 hours into this.
Do you know that we actually have bonus episodes over on Patreon?
We do. And by going to patreon.com/Mike and Dylan, you can get some of those bonus episodes. Also, we have our friend Gabe and Tony give advice to people. Tony gives financial advice. Gabe gives dating advice. So if you need that crucial.
Well, and Tony's life advice, right? Like he gives.
Yeah, he gives just general advice, and Gabe gives relationship advice. So if you're looking to fix your relationship, or you have life advice that you really need handled, you can go to patreon.com/Mike and Dylan and get those bonus episodes.
Do we have that linked on mikeandylan.com?
I think so. I think we have the Patreon on there. I don't know. All right, this is from Lauren. This is a 2D JB submission. The title says, One Real Bad Lucid Dream. The title of this story probably has you raising an eyebrow, but this is by far the scariest thing that's happened to me in a while. It started when I, 23, okay, wait a second, because we got to start. We got to address something. Way too many people are reading in on the mic saying that's not how you sell your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently in the one episode, I was like, you can't listen. A contractual agreement has two coherent consenting parties. If you take a old person who is dying, okay, they're not in their right state of mind, and they make a will, that will is not
valid.
It's not valid in the eyes of the law. So you can tie that to selling your soul to Satan. You know what I'm saying? If someone against their will is selling their soul, or if someone is not lucid in their thinking, then that contract is not valid.
Well, yeah, but like also you can get yourself into predatory contracts where you agree to something that isn't in your benefit.
I would like to think in the dual sense, the duological sense of good and evil, that the ultimate good could override that contract in the face of ultimate evil.
Okay, but like in the storybook of what's going on, like then good should just triumph evil. It should be like a no contest. It just wins.
I don't know.
There's still all this chaos of that Satan has the power of a god and they're equal and
right.
They're fighting for
he doesn't
soul.
have the power of a god, because he would already control everything if he had the power of a god. He is thwarted by the power of a god. He is very powerful. He is more powerful than human. Ergo, he is able to like manipulate human beings, but he does not have the power to just take control.
Okay, but God supposedly isn't like dictating things too. Like he's just letting people make their own decisions. But all the things that are sinful, that's all.
I don't know. It's late, and we're 2 hours and 10 minutes into a podcast. So.
Oh, I guess the submission worked.
What do you mean?
They wanted
that one. Yeah,
episode.
That one wanted a 2 hour episode. All right. It started when I, 23 female, was on my way back to work, and my boss called and canceled me for the day. This was not abnormal when there is too much staff scheduled for the day. Naturally, I went back home and went to sleep. I woke up in a house that was similar layout to mine, but everything was different. The furniture, the paint, everything. I got up and went to the kitchen and saw my boyfriend and his parents making breakfast. This wasn't abnormal to me. My boyfriend's parents live next door. The kitchen also looked completely different, and so does the living room. I could feel my heart racing. It didn't seem right. I had heard of lucid dreams before, but dreams that may be part of an alternate reality, and immediately knew that it's what I was experiencing. I went outside, and the whole driveway was different. There was a dark blue Ram trunk, some kind of SUV, I'm assuming was supposed to be mine, and 3 boats. Somehow, in this alternate reality, we have lots of money. Let me stay.
Yeah, just keep me
Let
here.
me stay. Keep me. This horrible lucid dream started to slowly fade away, and I could start to hear my chickens crowing, chickens that I have in my real life. It took all my energy to open my eyes, and I could barely see my actual bedroom. I couldn't move or open my other eye, and I fell back asleep. This part about barely waking up and falling back asleep happened several times, so I'm just going to disclaim now to save y'all time later. I'm just going to disclaim that now and save y'all the time later. At that point, it became apparent to me that some kind of stimuli had to be present in the real world for me to wake up. So I'm back in my lucid dream in my so-called living room. My boyfriend looks visibly concerned. I saw my dog and started to call for her, Bella, but she wasn't responding. I asked my boyfriend what the dog's name was, and he hesitantly said, Ella. I got up and started walking around the house, asking my boyfriend what certain things were. I saw some miscellaneous things at my dad's and asked where he's at. He said he's dead. Side note, he's dead in the real world too, but in this dream, I want to take advantage of the situation and call him to talk to him. I asked about the kitchen and why it looks different. He said his parents redid the backsplash. It was ugly, by the way. The hallway in the back of the house was our washer and dryer was also completely different. This girl's in the future right now.
No, just parallel.
No, because the next day the parents are going to be like, hey, we were thinking about redoing your backsplash. And she'll be like, whoa, yes, we're getting all the cars.
We're getting boats.
We're getting boats. The next time I entered this lucid dream, I was in the town that I was apparently living in and nowhere near my house. The town appeared extremely crowded and overpopulated. In the real world, I live in the middle of nowhere, and our only neighbors are a mile are my boyfriend's parents. No people to be seen anywhere. In the dream, it appeared that everyone lived in a dirty, rundown trailers that were less than 10 feet apart. I started to wonder maybe if it was some kind of doomsday dream after everything that was happening in Iran at the moment. Someone walked past me and said, hi, Lily. That's not my name. I walked around and started asking questions. I gathered that we were somewhere in Virginia, not where I lived, in the year 2054.
Dang.
Told you it was the future. My heart started racing to the point that I thought I was going to have a medical emergency. I know none of this sounds scary, but what? Yes, it does sound scary. What are you talking about? You're in an alternate reality and just walking around and things are a little bit off, but not completely off. This would fuck people up. But it was just how real everything was that made it scary, and I started to seriously consider that this may be my new life. I remember waking up at one point, one eye barely open, and grabbing my phone to call 911 thinking maybe I was having a stroke. As always, I couldn't stay awake despite fighting with everything in me. Some other dumb things that happened, like people that I guess were my friends trying to talk to me and me just walking away. At the end of everything, I did fully wake up to my rooster crowing and picked up my phone. The time was 0900, which is 9 o'clock in the morning. Just say that. Thank God that bullshit didn't last all day. 0900 is 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, yeah.
Military time or not military, because they'd use like point, but like 24-hour clock makes so much sense.
Yeah, I guess. I also immediately went to message you guys because I thought you may like the story. I want to add that I've done research on lucid dreams and traveling to alternate dimensions in your sleep, and that's the only reason I'm convinced I was in some kind of alternate reality, especially since some things were the same, like the house layout, my boyfriend, my dog being the exact same dog, just with a different name. I also had other dreams of going to several different places that don't exist in the real world. Apparently, that is a sign of your traveling dimensions. I've also heard of several dreams of significant events that end up becoming true, which I can write a post on if you're interested. Always interested. Anyways, thank you for your time. Feel free to bully me for any grammar mistakes. I love the show. Keep doing what you're doing. Shout out to my boyfriend, Paul, please, because he loves your show and got me onto it. Fucking Paul. Just upstanding.
Paul, Chad.
Look, that's what, yeah. We need Pauls, man. Pauls to spread the word of the two daddies judging baddies. I will always be hesitant on shutting somebody down on alternate dimensions solely because of the beach experience and knowing that there was no way that I could survive being that far into the water and having zero energy left. People are like, well, it's adrenaline. And my adrenaline was gone by that point. And then I was perfectly okay coming out of the water with no memory of how I got there. And I always believe that there's a dimension where I fucking died and, that set of family is, she's raising my daughter that doesn't have a dad. It's so fucking weird. I do believe that when you pass away, and it's just a weird belief that I have, that when you pass away here, you don't know that. In the next set of consciousness, you miraculously survived whatever, whether it be the stage 4 cancer that was eating away at your body or whatever. Once your consciousness ceases to exist here, you go to a different place where you're perfectly okay.
Well, what about when you're like 102 years old?
I think that's when you just go. Like that's whether, I don't know if it's reincarnation or what, but I think that and maybe it's the the good die young, is that you are supposed to ascend from this plane. Like, this is the plane of pain, and where you go to maybe, you don't know what paradise is unless you've been through pain. Like, you just wouldn't understand it. Maybe this is the place where we reset and then we go, maybe we've gotten too vain and we don't appreciate what we have in whatever other realm of existence. I know that, and I can say I know all day, but it just feels like our conscience is more than the chemicals that make it up, And once again, that's just a weird Mike belief, but maybe this place is the reset place. You can't tell me that hell is real, because there's no way that there's an ultimate punishment of burning in a lake of fire, when here you can experience watching your child slowly die of cancer, which to any parent is an infinitely worse punishment or just thing to go through. Not even a punishment. Don't word it as a fucking punishment. That's so kooky. You know what I'm saying? It's no God's plan that your child dies slowly in front of you. But, maybe that kid was already good enough to be welcome back. Go back to the plane where our consciousness belongs, to our real home. It ties into a lot of stuff with DMT and people having the same lucid dream of going to a place where they recognize as home. And, the people are saying, hey, we can't wait to have you back and shit like that. That thousands of people that have done DMT recall the exact same thing. It does feel weird. It does feel like there's another element to our consciousness that maybe we haven't tapped into. And maybe we are all collective something. I don't know. I'll tell you guys. I'll try to tell you guys when I die. I'll try to come back and be like, hey, it is this.
Well, that's the biggest thing, is like nobody knows. Like it's impossible to know until you do that. And so even somebody that, has near-death experiences, like they didn't die. Like you can be flatlined, but if it's the not coming back part that is death.
The finality, yeah.
And so like but people on DMT have similar experiences to people that are near life death experiences. And I think the fun thing is being open to all of it, because, I am not a religious person. I do not believe in the Bible, the Quran. I don't believe in the Torah. However, any of those could be right, and I'm okay with it. But talking about them and just thinking is a fun activity to do. And so, like, I think it's wild when somebody's like, this is the only way. No,
there could be so many things, but
you have no idea.
The only thing you're not going to convince me on is that if we do have a creator that looks at us as our children, and we were made in his image, and he instilled the power in me to look at 3 little, offsets of myself and love them unconditionally. You cannot tell me that creator then does not love me unconditionally, and that everything that's made up in these fairy tales that you give us is not some kind of, check to say, hey, don't rebel against, whatever government is set up. It's not rules set by him. If someone perfect, you know what I'm saying, made imperfect people, he would understand that he made them imperfect in some way. That is more beautiful than being perfect, is to learn from mistakes and stuff like that. You cannot tell me that. And once again, this goes with, pedophiles are awful people. And I'm the first one to say that they belong on a pyre. I can also tell you they have a sickness. You know what I'm saying? Something's
most
wrong
of the time
with them.
they're abused, and
right?
And it doesn't we started either this podcast or the last one talking about you don't get a free pass. Like, just because you were abused doesn't mean that you get to then perpetrate that. Like, but we can understand how that ends up being. But like the fact that you acted upon it, that was a willful decision. You're not just a victim to your circumstances. You have to decide that you're not going to do the same thing that somebody did to you. And
a child that walks into a school and he murders 20 of his classmates, you can say, hey, that was not someone in their that's not someone
that's
healthy. In the right mind. Yeah. And to say you don't love them anymore because of that, if my child did that, I could say, hey, I loved my child. I hated the act that they did. I love my child. So if I'm created in somebody's image and they gave me the capacity to love unconditionally, you could say, hey, it's a flaw. It's not a flaw, whatever. I choose to believe it's not a flaw. I believe that love is like one of the purest emotions that somebody can have. It's undeniable, So if they instilled the compassion in me to say, I love these little beings more than I love myself, then you're not going to sit there and convince me that I make mistakes, which is human, and that my creator is not going to be like, hey, I understand that they made these mistakes because they're human. They are not, if a perfect God created me, he understands perfectly I am not perfect.
Well, I think the biggest thing, and this is why I flirted with Christianity and, different other religions and things like that. Like, my biggest issue with Christianity is, like, the one thing is accept Jesus as your savior. Like, no seeing him, no proof. Like, historically, he might actually have existed. I'm one of the people that, kind of says, like, there's not a huge depth of like actual historical evidence that he was there, but like the a lot of the principles that he stands on, I stand on too. And so like I like him as a thought leader of somebody that can influence your life. But the fact that yes, God says, Jesus, I sent him down there, he's me, I'm him, we're son, ghost, all this, like, but if you don't accept him as your savior, you burn in hell. Like,
which is the only thing that separates Catholicism from Christianity from Judaism, is just one guy. Like, yeah, the story of Jesus is a beautiful story that people should live their life behind, like the accepting everybody, to be able to empathize, have sympathy, and to love that neighbor no matter who they are. Like, that is a beautiful thing. But then you have to understand that when someone creates a religion and a book around this guy, this idea, that all they're doing is they're splitting a religion based on one God. He's split into multiple religions. You think out of the 3,000 religions, Yahweh's probably, I don't know how many, but I'm going to say at least 20 of them.
Well, but Yahweh is just the monotheistic, like he's the God.
Correct,
but then if you go into all, and like this is the big thing, is like the actual tenets of it is just love people, like do right by people. For the majority of religions, that's like do good by other people. Like don't treat other people with hate and contempt and these type of things. And like that's like don't kill, don't murder, don't rape, don't steal, don't like hurt other people while you're going through this existence.
Right.
And all of that's solid stuff to stand on. And if a religion makes that feel like it makes more sense to you, good, great. But like, and I think this is what we're facing right now, though, is the people that are standing on that pedestal saying, like, you need to do this, like, this is the right way to live, are, for the most part, and I'm not judging everybody that believes in a religion, but the people that are shouting the loudest are some of the shittiest people. Like, I'm sorry, but our president is not a religious man. He is not. He is playing cosplay of a religious man to simply win favor. But like, you can look at the way that he lives his life and the way that he treats people, and the fact that every single person he doesn't like, he calls a name and like acts like they're the enemy, the other. And like, that's not the tenets of the religion that is supposed to be backing him.
All the tenets of love. And it seems like, people who follow that give you every reason to hate somebody. And it's just, listen, my creator, my father would understand that I did not want to follow those people. So
yeah,
he would be like, hey, I'm glad you didn't follow those people. I'm glad you didn't say, hey, look at this demographic of people and this is why you should hate them. And I was like, hey, I'm going to ignore that. Even if he was like, you didn't believe in me specifically, if you didn't name me by name, but you lived that life where you could say, hey, I love these people who are an offset of you. That's the craziest part too, is if we are created in his image, then you are looking at people created in his image and you're saying, I hate that. And if that's not Satan, I don't know what the fuck is. Guys, you got anything to finish up on?
Well, just like in that exact thing, like when you look at the current thing that we're fighting is, this whole illegal immigrant thing, is like, if I look at a dad, okay, take out everybody that is a rapist, murderer, all that stuff, because they should be in jail and then they should get deported.
And they're the minority of people.
But like, you should have done something and then now you are getting deported. But like a dad that is out on a construction site providing for his family, doesn't have a DUI, hasn't raped anybody, hasn't killed anybody, hasn't stole, all this stuff. His simple one offense is that he crossed over into this country.
An imaginary line.
Yeah. And like, that's his one offense. And I get that everybody can get, well, that's illegal. Well, it's, I look at that dad and he's trying to do the best by his family. If that's all he's done wrong, I'm cool. Like that's a decent person. And I could see myself doing that same thing, leaving a cartel led, a fucking super corrupt living situation where my kids can't even go to school without possibly dying. And I can jump this imaginary line, this fence, and put them here. And yes, I get that I am breaking the law to do that. But if I can ensure that my kids live a better life because I broke that one law, I don't like, and I'm not.
You're not a dad if you wouldn't do that for your kids.
And I'm not going to murder, and I'm not going to rape, and I know that I'm not going to do all these things. I'm not going to get drunk and get behind the wheel because I know all this stuff could jeopardize my family's well-being. But like, that's the part that's wild, is that you have a very large demographic of people that are like, well, they crossed that line and they should do it legally. I get it. I agree. If there's an opportunity for them to do it legally, I would love to see them do it legally. However, if it's between cartel deaths and like super corrupt governments and like just super danger, no place to make money, do all that stuff, how can I judge that person for making that decision and being like, I'm going to gamble, jump in this line to try and provide for my family? I look at it and it's all I can see is empathy for that father.
Right.
I can't say, well, he jumped the line, get out.
Right. Because at the same time you're calling them criminals, you're worshiping a whole subset of monsters.
Literal criminals.
Literal criminals and monsters. And I think maybe you need to stop being a sheep and listening to what one guy is telling you who to hate, and maybe
it's a whole
try to step into somebody else's shoes.
It's a whole group of media that's telling you this. And then they are utilizing religion to say like, well, the Bible says you should obey the laws of the land. I get it, but I'm sorry.
Laws of the land say don't fuck kids too, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to take anybody down.
They could skip past that one. All right, guys, listen. Thank you so much for listening to our long-ass episode. We love you so much. Remember, love thy neighbor, no matter who the fuck they are, okay? Don't just hate people for no reason. We'll see you next time, guys.
Later.